나와 신나 뻔게 또 신나 샤바와키 신나 뭐 기그라니 짜이 샤바기라니 짜이 뭐 기그라니
Okay, this is the Yiddi's dress that turns into a skirt, a short dress, and a long dress.
And a tarp to protect your car, as of course that is Clint's girlfriend, and he's not here, so he's probably somewhere underneath her. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Luke Gradowski, here of the bestpoliticalshow.com, and we are going to be going live in the eye of the storm here in Florida for the next 2 hours, discussing all the latest and craziest news. As of course, we have a major hurricane coming our way, as a sheriff now is threatening potential looters with not being able to get out of the homes that they're trying to loot, while the governor here just gave a big smackdown against Kamala Harris, while, of course, Elon Musk and even very surprisingly, Joe Biden, yes, Joe Biden himself, also participated in a smackdown of Kamala Harris, as it's not really looking good for her, while all of us here in Florida wait for the big one. As, of course, that's exactly what we are going to be discussing within the next 2 hours. So please share this broadcast with your friends and family members. It's more important than ever. The YouTube algorithm doesn't really help us much. The only ways that these videos kind of get out there to the general public is you guys literally clicking on the URL and clicking repost, clicking share, and then getting them out there to your friends and family members. That's how our voice got out there for over 20 plus years, and that's how our voice will continue to get out there. In appreciation for you guys making the show possible, we also make you a part of the show. As of course, members of LukeUnfiltered.com who could sign up for less than 20 cents a day get the ability to call in to the show and ask us questions, and it's done in a totally unfiltered, unmoderated way. You could be a part of the discussion just by simply signing up right now and then going into the Telegram channel, and then, of course, letting me know that you want to call in. As of right now, we do not have a caller. That new caller could be you, and if you're calling in for the first time, we actually give you a free supplement from wearechange.shop. Yes, you call in, and you could sign up for as little as $8 a month, and you get a $30 supplement just for calling in for the first time. We're going to be doing our best to read any and all super chats. We do our best. We had a little bit of a problem trying to do it yesterday since we had so many. We apologize. We will always do our best to read as many as we can. And of course, we always will be prioritizing the Streamlabs mysuperchat.com feature, which of course only gives us a 3% service charge. Our guest, just like the guest almost every day of the week here, had some kind of disruption because of this hurricane, including the one that was supposed to be on today. But don't worry, we got a amazing group of individuals joining us here today that are looking at me very skeptically, like, what is he going to say? I know he's going to try to not going to jab us. You guys are some of my closest friends and some of the most awesome people I know, and that, of course, is Andrew and Martha. For the people who don't know you guys, Andrew, who are you, and how would you introduce yourself?
I am the former editor-in-chief of We Are Change. I was so trusted by Luke Gradowski that he put me in charge of the whole operation.
Yep, you and Cassandra Fairbanks were the kind of head honchos of the We Are Change organization. 30-plus writers from different political perspectives that were fighting each other. Because I had this naive belief that people from different perspectives would just agree, learn to agree to disagree and then lay out their differences through content. But that really didn't happen.
Well, I think the newsroom was super impactful in 2016.
Oh, yeah.
We literally helped elect Trump. The left wrote a book about, we got the spirit cooking story onto the front page of Drudge, and it swung a lot of votes. But I wanted to say it was not just super successful in impacting things in the real world. We were doing something like 250 million impressions a week on Facebook until they cut us out at the knees. So We Are Change is a force that has been around a long time, and only the evil doers have removed or tried to remove some of its power. But it's only because we're super effective, do the right thing. Yeah, am I part of We Are Change?
Absolutely. You are
What
here
the
sitting
heck?
in this chair. Once we are change, always we are change, according to the FBI.
We Are Change.
Good
We
luck
Are
with
Change
that.
for life.
Yes.
I'm also
It's in your public FBI file forever.
perfect.
Now, so
That's what I want.
but
But then you also have another role with this game, with
Yeah.
this really popular, really awesome game that I think you need to also talk about.
Go on Alex Jones's Twitter right now. Scroll down a little bit. He just tweeted out again the Alex Jones video game, the creator of it right here. So AlexJonesGame.com. The left really didn't like it. They pitched a fit. They said, "Oh, you're doing things to Hillary Clinton and Mark Zuckerberg in the game." What are you talking about? That's not Hillary Clinton. It's the Wicked Witch of the West Wing.
Yeah. By the way, just to add to your point here, we're also live right now on Facebook. Can you guess how many live viewers we have on our mega huge Facebook page with
4.
with close to 1 million followers?
7.
You were actually right. 4 people.
Yeah.
4 people are now watching on Facebook Boomer Book, as of course we were absolutely decapitated there. It was one of the major ways that we were actually getting all of our reach. Our articles, our memes, our videos were just predominantly highlighted and shared on Facebook until I think it was the Atlantic Council got involved here and said, no more free speech for you guys. We're just going to make sure no one sees your content at all. And this is one reason why I won't forgive Mark Zuckerberg. I don't care how much of an F-boy he looks like. I don't care how much hair product he puts in, how much jujitsu he does. I don't care what PR marketing group he hires in order to make himself look better than he did before. I will never forgive him, because if he really did become a libertarian, if he really did care about all the harm that he did, he, of course, would allow people to have free speech. There's no free speech on Facebook. There's just total and absolute censorship, which is disgusting.
One of the things that I did after chairing, editor-in-chief of We Are Change, I went and ran a thing called Cernovich News. I was running the Facebook for Mike Cernovich, and we were doing big numbers there too. They cut us off at We Are Change, so I start doing Cernovich News, doing huge numbers there, and then all of a sudden they pulled the plug on that too. And it's not like me guessing or, oh no, people just didn't like us anymore. Project Veritas had a whistleblower inside Facebook that gave documents that said, oh yeah, during this point in time, we specifically deboosted these pages. And it was Steven Crowder, Mike Cernovich. So I'm the most, viral person that you don't see go viral, and so is Luke, because they keep pulling the plug. They don't want us jacked into the algorithm because we are change. We change people's minds, and they don't want that.
It was you that got us censored.
I was
It
going to
was
say
all
the
your
same thing.
fault.
It is you.
Yeah, everywhere he goes, we get fully censored. So
I
you're
say
not
that
welcome here,
I
Andrew.
say that communism follows me around, but
Yeah.
I think that
Censorship.
censorship follows you around.
Listen, Luke was, I think, the first demonetized major channel on YouTube. Yeah.
Before even anyone knew what demonetization was, we were hit with it. And I remember being like, is anyone else dealing with this? Did anyone ever deal with this? And I met with some of the top executives at YouTube. I crashed their parties. I literally snuck into the VIP parties in California, and I directly grilled them. I was like, what's going on here? Explain it to me. And they're like, yeah, we'll get back to you. This is not normal. I don't understand what's going on. So even the higher up executives, we're talking about the top of the top here at their secret little parties in California. I didn't record this. Tim Pool was actually there too. It's a very interesting story. The algorithm's being very friendly to him, which God bless him, and it's great. But the YouTube algorithm, I think, is following in the same footsteps as Facebook, and that's why we're seeing such a larger kind of squash. And that's why we stream also on Kick. We stream on, of course, Twitter, and also we stream on Rumble. We started to do multi streams only because Rumble's also dealing with a lot of significant kind of problems, since they are on the coast. That's going to be the most hit by Hurricane Milton. And it definitely does look like they are dealing with some significant issues with their servers, and sometimes the video cuts in and out. But we really like Rumble. We really like the platform. As you can see, I got a bunch of Rumble products in front of me and around me. We'll tell you about those in just a little bit. As of course, these introductions are going a little long. That's okay. As Marta Bueno es aquí.
Hello.
Hola.
I'm your feisty Latina that comes and crashes the party. The latest newcomer, I guess. So you can find me at Bueno for Miami on X and IG.
Awesome. Steph is also here in the house as well.
Hi, everyone. This is Steph. We are Change, pushing the buttons.
We might be doing a competition for a new co-host, so stay tuned for that. We were just discussing about potentially allowing random people to just walk in here and do the show. I think maybe members of LukeUnfiltered.com being a part of the show would be cool. I should have brought that up during our meetup that we just did. We might do another meetup here in Florida, and I think the seniority of people who signed up on LukeUnfiltered.com will get the priority of essentially being casted here for the best political show, which should be interesting. We also have a show tomorrow. Everything this week has been just an absolute cluster F to work around, especially here in Florida. We were supposed to have Toby here. We were supposed to have our guest here. Our guest today was supposed to be on Monday, but then it happened that he came on another day, and then Mac Lawson was supposed to be on today, and then she just wanted to be by herself, and now it looks like she might be on with the pastor tomorrow. So yes, total utter cluster F, as of course we have more than 1 million people now told to evacuate Florida as they are bracing for Hurricane Milton, which is making their way here. Another big significant update with all of this is that the Florida airports are shutting down as already. We have airports in Tampa canceling flights. We have airports in Orlando shutting down tomorrow morning. And transportation is just an utter frickin' mess, to say the least, as these are the kind of latest images we have here from helicopters flying over the traffic that's going on right now in St. Pete. Now, you guys are more Floridians than I am. Have you guys seen something like this before? And the level of kind of warnings that we're getting, the severity of this. I mean, they're still they're giving out sandbags here. And we're allegedly not even in the path here. But have you guys seen something like this before?
I love how you say we're not even in the path. And it's like, you do realize that hurricanes change. And we could potentially, we're currently not in the path, but just today, the hurricane shifted further south. And we don't know what's going to happen. So as the lifelong Floridian, I'm saying prepare. If you are anywhere in Florida and even further north in Atlanta, just prepare. Just, have the stuff. It's better to be prepared and not need it than need it and not have it.
Martha, tell people what preparing means. Like, what does it look like? It
Speaking
looks
to the mic, Steph, we can't hear you.
It looks like you getting stuck in your house for days with sometimes no electricity, sometimes no way to cook. You know, you have to have a lot of candles.
Foods that you can eat.
We have a video that you sent me through text message that I'm uploading right now that I am going to be showing everyone with what you were telling us as well. So just hold on as we pull that up. But I think it'll be cool to talk about some of your guys' kind of experiences here through past storms, and to kind of talk about the larger things that we're not really getting through the corporate media. I was talking to a local friend, and I was like, "Hey, where's your bug out bag?" She's like, "Bug out what?" I'm like, bug out bag.
Everyone needs.
You don't
a
have
bug
one
out
in your
bag.
car? She's like, what?
You need to have your important documents readily available, your medicines. I mean, like everybody should have this, but in the path of a hurricane, you don't know if you need to just like leave in the last minute. Something happens. We'll get into hurricanes, but 1992 we had Hurricane Andrew, and that's the one that like scared me for life. So this is a monster. This is a Category 5. They're predicting it might reduce in size a little bit. I don't see that happening, to be fair. I mean, there's no land before it. There's not a whole lot of wind shear to break it down. I don't know. I'm concerned. Everybody that is in Florida needs to be eyes on this.
Yeah, some people are saying that this is overhyped. My major kind of message to everyone is that if anything does happen, you're on your own. Personal responsibility is something that I think a lot of people need to realize more than ever, especially with the larger kind of incompetence that we have from FEMA and the federal government. Now, the local Florida government, I think, is doing a kind of impressive job. I think they have kind of been veteraned throughout all of this. But I also remember this one time where we visited you here here. It was me and Steph. You were sick, Andrew. We visited you many years ago. We gave you medicine. You got me sick afterwards. But you've been in here in Florida for a very long time. Have you ever seen something like this?
Yeah, what Martha said is exactly right. When I was 5 years old, the weathermen all said Hurricane Andrew wasn't going to hit.
It wasn't going to hit us.
It wasn't going to hit. So I was in
you were 5?
I was 5.
And you remember it? Oh, how cute.
I'll tell you why I remember. Because
it's traumatizing.
well,
that's
I was in my house with my parents, and they said it wasn't going to hit, so we didn't go. We stayed.
Yep.
And we got hit directly. It ripped the second story off of our house. We were all trapped in one bathroom on the first floor, and our neighbors that had been all huddled in one house in the neighborhood because their houses were ripped up completely. They came and they pulled us out of the bathroom when the eye of the storm came, and it was calm enough for them to come get us.
Wow.
So Hurricane Andrew was pretty serious, and this thing, Milton, looks like an even bigger monster. But
the eye is so small. And that's the concerning thing, because Andrew's eye was huge. We had about an hour of reprieve. This is 3 miles wide. This will come and go, and it's scary.
Yeah, if you're in the Tampa area, I mean, I don't want Tampa to get hit, but I hope it's that area at least, because they've been prepared. Like those people have been evacuating for days. It would be disastrous for it to go anywhere else at this point. Not that it's not going to be disastrous
what's
for Tampa
wild?
anyway.
The Florida government is saying to people in the Tampa area, evacuate to Miami. What? Are these people insane?
Yeah.
Like, no, don't come down here. We don't have any gas. We don't have any hotels. We don't have any. And then if it hits us, what are we going to do?
Yeah, go to Nashville. If you're leaving your home in Florida, go to Nashville.
Well, that's the unpredictability of this all, because the hurricane could go up to Nashville too, right?
But chances are, plus you have places that you can go further north from.
Correct.
Like there's nowhere to go. If you are coming to Miami, there's nowhere to. Where are you going to go? To the Keys?
I'm so
that's
surprised.
my plan,
I'm
actually.
surprised you guys are even saying that, because I feel like a lot of people don't like to leave their homes. I feel like no one really considers the evacuation.
I mean, you need to leave. The thing is,
That's like a hard ask. I feel like a lot of people are like, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. I didn't like Tim Pool posted yesterday. He's repeating the government. And he's saying, get out now. And I just replied to him, no. Like, I'm not leaving. Like, unless I have to leave, I'm not leaving. If they say, oh, it's turning.
You didn't learn that lesson well enough.
No.
Category 3 and above, and I'm like, I'm out. Unfortunately, now we're stuck.
The first sign I hear that it's actually potentially coming further south, I will get my ass to the Keys. Like, I will be out of here.
Good luck finding a hotel.
What?
Good luck finding a hotel.
I don't need a hotel.
Are the structures even good over there? I feel like they're all houses on stilts.
No, but the point is, like, they won't be in the storm. If it's coming to Miami, the Keys are 3 hours south. The Tampa's 3 hours north. So if it's turning a little bit, you've got a place to go still. Without the highways being clogged. If you try and go north from here, they say it's coming. You're going to be screwed.
The thing is, if you leave now and you go up, because also there's a lot of traffic and you can't find any gas. I know we'll talk about that a little later. But when you're stuck in traffic and then the hurricane comes, there's nowhere to go.
Correct.
Like, I don't think people realize how bad evacuating is.
Yeah, have your bug out bags ready. On lookunfiltered.com, we have the Apocalypse Survival Guide. We might make that free for everyone, I think, because you could download it with one click of a button. And then when you do, we tell you, hey, this is what you should be in your bug out bag. Hey, this is what you should look out for. This is how you build a shelter. This is how you build a fire. This is how you hunt small game if you have to. This is how you land and navigate. So all of that is available for members right now, which I think is important.
When you were talking about FEMA, something I wanted to put up, they're not just doing a bad job in North Carolina. They literally were threatening people with arrest if you go and save anybody. And I put in the Telegram group chat, there's video, they're running Black Hawk helicopters right over the volunteers that are trying to do anything to gather supplies, to help people. They're running these helicopters over them and blowing them away. Like, FEMA is actively making things worse.
Well, we don't know who ran that helicopter, though.
No, we know.
I mean, it's not good. But
It's federal.
Whenever the government has Black Hawk helicopters, just expect the worst.
Yeah, that's right.
Personally, from my experiences.
I don't know if you talked about it on the show yet. You probably have.
Oh yeah, we played it and we showed the videos of it. So what I'm getting at, what we're hearing was the kind of situation was kind of National Guard. They were kind of inexperienced and they were trying to land in order to drop off some of the supplies, and then in doing so, they didn't understand that they were creating a little bit more havoc there. And from what I'm hearing, this was accidental. Whether you believe that or not, but that's the version of the story that's going around there.
You mean to tell me that pilots that do this, for a living don't know what a helicopter will do when you go to land in the middle of like, I'm sorry, but I don't fly helicopters and I know that this is bullshit.
Yeah, just like Katrina in New Orleans. Oh, we just had no idea how to fix the levees anymore, guys. We're all incompetent. Nobody knows how to do anything.
But give us all your money because we will solve all your problems. But we're so incompetent that we train helicopter pilots and we don't tell them what this maneuver is called.
The thing that gets me and what I wanted to say, I don't know if you've talked about it on the show, you probably have, but the storm going from west to east, created in the Gulf at this size, unprecedented, and we're getting these storms back to back, hitting the southeast of the United States. This is the heart of conservative country. This is right where Kamala and the Democrats and the globalists are desperate for chaos, disruption, so they can do anything to win the election. And just like right before the pandemic hit in 2020, they had this Operation Phoenix or Phoenix, whatever it is. 2 years ago, they planned, we're going to have a Category 5 that's going to hit Tampa right in October. This is not some accident. They were running this drill just like Bill Gates was running his pandemic drill in 2019, right before the pandemic. They planned for this. They're making it happen with weather weapons. Operation Popeye. The U.S. has been creating weather weapons for decades and decades. It's on record, and we act like it's some conspiracy theory. The only reason Marjorie Taylor Greene was allowed to go viral talking about this issue is because she's a bad carrier for it. People, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene.
She's talking about the Jewish space lasers.
Right.
That's the lady. But I like MTG, to be honest with her. I met her a couple times, and she really impressed me in person. And the perspective that the media gave of her was totally wrong than what she was in person, to be honest with you.
I'm not trying to say anything about MTG except for the fact that the perception of her, they've made her into this loony, wacky character so her ideas can be discarded. That's the person they want to amplify these ideas through, so that when people on the left hear of the idea of weather weapons, it's that crazy lady MTG.
Wait, but the weather weapons has been like I literally have a VHS on HARP that my mom had. Like, this is like super old news, you guys.
Yeah, but if you ask the average person at Publix right now, what's HARP? What's a HARP machine? They'll have no idea. And if you explain to them that the government can create hurricanes, they'll think you're talking about Santa Claus. They'll think you're a lunatic. They don't understand that this stuff is real, and that's what I'm saying. Them amplifying it through MTG versus amplifying it through JD Vance. I don't know. Somebody that Vivek Ramaswamy. Someone that the people on through Elon Musk. Someone that the people in the center or on the left that they look at as more credible. So I'm saying they're trying to discredit this idea by putting it out there via MTG. That's why they're having Sarah Silverman amplify MTG saying it. So, it's just this crazy idea. Even though
a conspiracy theory, they're using those terms.
Right. Even though what conspiracy theory? Operation Popeye, HARP. These things exist for decades. It's record that they can do this. The Chinese government, the Saudi government have admitted that they can do this. This is old technology, not even new technology.
Lyndon Johnson was talking about this for quite a while as well in the comments that he made about this. I saw it earlier today. I'm going to try to find that clip. If my producer's watching, if you could try to find the Lyndon Johnson weather weapons speech, that would be great, and then we'll play it for everyone here. But we got the Wikipedia here of Operation Popeye that reads, was a military cloud seeding project carried out by the U.S. Air Force during the Vietnam War In 1967 to 1962, the highly classified program attempted to extend the monsoon season over specific areas of the Ho Chi Minh Trail to disrupt North Vietnamese military supplies by softening roads, surfaces, and causing landslides. So, Operation Popeye, even according to Wikipedia, say what you may about Wikipedia. Wikipedia hates us, by the way. They banned us from even being mentioned, even when we break news.
They won't let
but they're talking about this.
They won't even let people create a page for me. Like anytime people create a page for me, they subvert it to the page for "Don't Tase Me, Bro." They won't let people make me a page. It's like no. He's only relevant for "Don't Tase Me,
They
Bro."
hit you and then they hit me because I was connected to you.
No, they hit you first on Wikipedia.
I'm telling you, you're the one that brings it. If I'm bringing communism, you're bringing the censorship.
I'm not allowed to have a page on Wikipedia. I'm persona non grata, not allowed. And there was even like notes that a lot of the kind of engineers and a lot of the people behind the scenes at Wikipedia that were publicly released saying, yeah, these guys, they're just not true news. Don't ever mention them. Don't even mention them by name. And that's exactly what they did. I found the clip so my producer could stop watching it. But this is Lyndon Johnson in 1962 talking about who controls the weather? Controls the world. Here's a clip.
The predicate and the foundation for the development of a weather satellite.
Oh my God.
That will permit man to determine the world's cloud layer and ultimately to control the weather, and he who controls the weather will control the world.
Yep, Lyndon Johnson, 1962. And, of course, there's a lot of patents, too. Now, have some of those been realized? Well, with the way that technology kind of advances, as the common saying is that U.S. military tech is 30 years advanced from public perception and public understanding. So, do they have
like a
weather
goddamn
weapons?
James Bond villain, and people act like this stuff doesn't exist. Only if you put it in a movie, then those, oh, wow. But when he says it in real life, like, no, that's not real.
I mean, yesterday, General Flynn literally discussed this and went through the patents, and he's one of the senior guys that had access to the most amount of intelligence in the United. Like, this is a guy that would know this, and he was like, "Yep, they have this type of technology, and they're super advanced." So I'm just saying, like government officials are telling you this is real. Former presidents are saying that this is real. You can look at the patents; it's real. I mean, what more do you need to be convinced that there is the possibility? If nothing else, there's a possibility, and then we're having some of the wildest storms. And of course, it's being blamed on us. It's like, oh, you drove an SUV, ergo, this is your fault.
Change.
Right. This is climate change. Give us more of your money and we're going to solve the problem. I'm not convinced you aren't the problem. Personally.
The conversations around everything happening right now by the corporate media are just absolutely disgusting, absolutely just bastardized. I typed in hurricane on Brave and look up look at the corporate news articles that come up. First one: FEMA chief warns dangerous Trump falsehoods hampering Helene response. What? Why is that the main news instead of here's how we could help our fellow Americans? The second article, CBS News: misinformation has surged following Helene. Here's a fact check. And again, New York Times: false claims are disrupting recovery. Hurricane Helene. Again, really, this is going to be the focus. People are looking up hurricane, and they're getting politicians that are trying to use this for their own political purposes in order to push this kind of larger climate change agenda and censorship.
Always remember, they're guilty of everything they try and accuse us of. So basically what they're doing with those articles, they're trying to blame the hurricane on Trump, on misinformation. That's us. The origin of the term fake news is them trying to smear literally We Are Change and some other organizations for what we did in 2016. So they're trying to blame Trump right now. Trump's the problem. Trump and the right. That's why the hurricane was so devastating and we're not recovering. No. It's them. They're running Black Hawk helicopters and disrupting things. They're threatening to arrest people if you try to save anybody's life in the hurricane. And they literally made the gosh dang effing hurricane, which I would use a lot different language if we were on a
I just have to rant here because there are the possibility of thousands of people that are going to be not only possibly dead, but displaced. Their entire lives are ruined. Everything they owned everything is gone. And here we are, like, oh my God, because Trump said something.
on.
Trump does not control anything right now. And whatever Trump says cannot change the weather, cannot change how the response happens, cannot change anything. Like, oh my God, it annoys me so much. There are so many people. If you've ever gone through a hurricane, you know what this is like. These people need help, and they need help right now. They don't need this bullshit. I don't know. Sorry, guys.
No,
I just had
that's
to.
a great point. You make a great point. That
In the mic stuff.
You make a great point. But I'm also curious because Florida usually gets hurricanes. It's not like a weird thing. Like, but is it actually? I don't think this is the season for that, is it?
It's a little late in the
It's
season.
late, right?
It's late, and also this is a monster storm.
Yeah.
This isn't like, oh, we're getting a like late season, category 1 or 2. This is a 5+.
Because what we fail to have is real tangible proof or whistleblowers. I have not seen someone say, yeah, I operate HARP and this is what I did. Like, I think that that's another thing. Like, oh yeah, you're looking at those planes, but are those actually metal particulates being sprayed into the air, or you're just making that up? All airplanes do have contrails.
Yeah. We're going to actually have Kristen Megan on. She's a government whistleblower.
We
interviewed
That's
her,
amazing.
and she's going to be on the show for a week. She's going to be here down in Miami in just a few days from now. So there are some whistleblower stuff, and she'll be probably staying with us. So we'll have enough time to discuss it with her. What were you going to mention?
Exactly the person you're just talking about. She's been on InfoWars before describing the fact that they spray strontium, barium, that they spray this stuff in the atmosphere. She was on base, and when they were doing this stuff, like there are whistleblowers. This stuff is not conspiracy theory.
They've told us in the past that they've done experiments on the population themselves. And, to me, it's just, I don't understand how there are people out there that still believe in the government or still like, oh, but they would never do that. They've experimented on humans without our consent, whether it's a particular group of people or just generalized, because they've also done that in cities. I mean, they've experimented on us. There's so many programs. You can go down the list from Tuskegee to, oh my God.
The St. Louis radiation experiments.
So many.
Yeah.
And then people are still like, oh no, but it's government. They would never harm their citizens or tax cattle on your tax farm.
Yeah, let's be honest. If they did control the weather, they wouldn't tell us that they control the weather.
At least not for a few generations. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, but they should have known. I mean, crazy weather. They should have known. Like, that's how it generally happens. And nobody is ever persecuted. Nobody is ever held responsible. Nobody ever has to pay for this. It's just, oh yeah, that was then. This is now.
This is what gets me about the people like Jake Shields or Nick Fuentes and that whole crowd, the dissidents, quote unquote, right wing. Like, these people keep screaming about, I'm not going to vote for Trump. Why would you vote for Trump? What are we going to get? They're literally lobbing freaking weather weapons at us, destroying entire swaths of states. And this is the federal government's resources. Under Trump, you had somebody that wasn't a globalist trying to decapitate humanity. And all these people can focus on is the Middle East, one issue. Like, they're more concerned with the Middle East than they are about America. Like, if you care about America, these people are trying to kill us all using weather weapons, garbage in the water, garbage in the air, like the stuff that they're doing to us on 1,000 levels. And Trump is partnering with RFK. Let's find out what's going on with the vaccines. Let's find out what's going on. Make America healthy again. There's so many ways in which Trump winning would be beneficial for Americans. And you have people that are so-called a dissident right that don't give a crap about any of this. These nihilist, fatherless losers, they need to realize Trump is the only hope for this country, or you're going to get 4 more years of the globalists screwing us over, killing us with weather weapons and whatever the hell else. Oh, and meanwhile, they're bringing in so many illegals that are basically serfs. They're going to vote Democrat and you'll never win an election again. Yeah. These people need to shut the hell up and vote for Trump.
Well, Elon Musk made some very similar comments like that. We'll play those in just a little bit. Kristen Megan also, by the way, is involved in a lawsuit with RFK Jr. against the federal government as well. So there's a lot of really exciting developments surrounding that. As of course, Martha, you sent me a video that no one really has of the storm. We're going to cue it up in just a little bit here because no one has the information that you have specifically on this that we're going to get into in a little bit. Before we do, though, Steph, let's read off some of the super chats, please.
All right, we got Clint's Moist Pride Hole saying, hola amigos, Luke and crew, y'all be safe. Also, there can only be one itchy pride hole, and that's Clint's.
Oh, wow.
What is a pride hole?
You know,
pride
you have
hole.
to ask.
And that wasn't Clint's girlfriend. That was Clint with a wig.
Oh my God.
Probably.
Clintina.
Can't confirm, but probably.
Okay, we got Bad Joke 69 saying Clint isn't there because he's busy prepping his girlfriends for the hurricane. It's his first Florida storm, and juggling hurricane kits and snack arguments wasn't in the survival guide.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Probably.
Wow.
Probably big if true.
We have another one from Bad Joke 69 saying, I have neighbors with normal windows that won't put up shutters for anything less than a category 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not quite wise. I hope
I get it. I get it.
You know, it's a work to put up those shutters, though. It's a pain. Invest in hurricane shutters.
I'll read the one
Hurricane-
above, too. Read all of
Finboy
them, Steph.
Slick says Martha won't have to be jealous since there's no Clintina video today. Big fan of the AJ game, by the way. When are we getting a sequel / DLC? It was way too short.
Listen, we're in production for more Alex Jones game right now, so stay tuned. And if you don't have it yet, AlexJonesGame.com. It's on Steam, the most popular computer game platform in the world, and you can play it right there on AlexJonesGame.com if you don't want to throw Steam the 30% they take off of us.
What are some of the concepts and ideas? Because I know we've been talking about this as well with potentially other individuals, but there's different kind of games. There's first person. There's like trivia games. How can you give us some more details about what you're thinking when it comes to expanding this larger kind of successful franchise that you were working on?
You talking about Alex Jones or something else?
I know you got a lot of different things going on, but I just wanted to get a little snippet, a little potential tease about the type of game, because I know there's different games that you're thinking about doing.
I know. Give us the tea.
Oh my
Also,
God.
by the way, I don't play video games myself, but I did stream somebody. I watched somebody playing it, and it was hilarious.
Did you watch Ian streaming?
I did not watch Ian's stream, but I watched somebody else's doing it, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is awesome!"
Thank you.
I love Alex Jones' voice in it too.
Alex is the best. Super top quality talent. And since Luke wants to know more, I will just tell you the level that people have been requesting the most for more Alex Jones content. We didn't do a Bohemian Grove level yet, and you might be getting that sometime soon.
Ooh, okay. I might
Might.
have to get into gaming
Maybe.
just to play that.
By popular demand.
Yeah, I might have to get into gaming. Oh my God. I'm a little too old for this, but honestly, it's great.
Steph, keep going.
Backup generator and a game. That's what we need for this hurricane.
Yeah, you need something to do while the storm is happening.
You definitely do. I mean,
The
definitely think about
generator's
that.
going to the fridge, Steph. Not towards you playing video games.
I'm just
for the
making
record.
a joke. I don't even play video games, you guys.
The Starlink and your phone, that's what you need.
Only the Alex Jones video game. Anyways,
That's all you need to survive a hurricane. AlexJonesGame.com.
We'll
know
be
what?
live streaming regardless. We have the Starlink. We have a generator. So we're going to be live
Luke.
tomorrow.
Oh, Luke,
So,
you're so optimistic. I love that about
Andrew.
you.
Why not ride out the storm live?
Yeah, no, you should stand outside
Yeah.
and stream live from outside. People would love
Yeah,
that.
I
We
already
can
have.
see
I
us.
already have my American underwear ready. I have
gonna
my
shoot the
American
storm?
flag ready.
I'll
As
join
someone who is a responsible,
Kayaks.
a self-defense
Educator,
person,
sure.
you don't want to throw bullets up in the middle of the air because
But
they
I
have
thought
to
that
come
helps.
down
I
eventually,
thought
and
that
you don't
helps.
want people's lives. Don't do that for the Florida men listening.
No,
do
no,
not shoot
please
the
don't.
storm. The bullets come down and they hurt people. So
Yes.
please
Also,
do
we
not
don't need any
do
more
that.
projectiles. I don't know if you guys have seen the news out in. We just had a hurricane in Florida 2 weeks ago with Hurricane Helene, and the governor's great and all, but whatever happened in that region, they haven't quite cleaned up the debris yet, and all of that debris is going to be projectiles. So
Yeah.
it's actually, we're making a joke, but actually there's a real serious issue.
that's
at
actually
hand.
the most dangerous part. One of the it's a
Absolutely.
really huge dangerous part about hurricanes.
And there's neighborhoods, complete neighborhoods in northern Florida that just have piles and piles and piles of rubbish. And that's concerning.
Sarasota is one of my favorite places on planet Earth.
yeah?
It is the beach there, the white sand
beautiful.
beach.
White sand.
You know, there's beautiful beaches in Hawaii with white sand, and there's a little plaque. It says "Sand imported from Sarasota, Florida."
Oh, really?
Sarasota has the nice. It's like a carpet. This white sand.
it's beautiful.
In Sarasota, a very lovely town, and they destroyed it with a weather weapon, and they're going back for more. So, you know, the globalists. I cannot tell people
Shark
enough.
teeth are found in that area too. There's a whole bunch of like shark. My little one is into all this stuff. So it's like really great for like going to pick up shells and shark
Well,
teeth
you
and
guys,
stuff.
I'm gonna read another super chat right here. We have one from Abri with mysuperchat.com. Thank you so much. And Abri says, I've heard some rumors that there's supposed to be another hurricane hitting Florida again about 10 days from now. Don't know if that's true, but certainly scary if it is. Prayers for Florida.
With the way that 2024 is going, probably.
Well, I mean, there's a disturbance out there. So
We haven't had our hurricane
if it's a 5, this is like the government just being like, you know what, we're not even going to try and hide it anymore.
We haven't had like the hurricane season. Usually every year there is like a hurricane season. We haven't had any of them. So
Do you want to know why?
that
Do you want to hear something
outrageous.
wild? Why there's been less hurricanes in Florida?
Tell me.
We're getting into the.
Oh, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Well,
We're
I
getting
mean,
into the woo woo.
There's a lot
I
of
know where you're
hurricanes
going with
happening
this.
now. Okay, let's go.
In 2004, the hurricane season was so bad that students at a certain place that studies the Zohar is the soul of the Bible. They decided to dedicate up and down the coast, giving away the Zohar, this very powerful book, in order to prevent hurricanes. And for years and years and years after they started doing this, not a single hurricane touched down and caused death in Florida. And then only when, like, there were 2 centers in Florida where people were studying this Zohar, and when one of them, fell, like less people were studying and they had to sell off some property and there's a smaller group, like only when that happened were the hurricanes suddenly coming back to Florida. So yeah, they're lobbing things at us with weather weapons, but we can fight back. Get yourself a Zohar. Literally, you want to be protected from.
Listen, we need Andrew here with Ian Crossland, who controls the weather.
That's right.
Ian
Oh
and
my
Andrew.
God.
Ian and Andrew, please.
Cone of
Ian
protection.
Crossland,
What I'm
come
hearing
here
is-
immediately.
That's right.
What I'm hearing is that religion and faith is no match for government and their weather systems.
No. It's when people stopped caring and sharing the Zohar enough. That's when the door was open to Satan. So
Government
you want to
is
shut that door back.
powerful, and they are so powerful that they can overpower.
I got a little more
faith.
super chats over
But,
here.
but
let's go.
let's go
Let's
to
go.
him a little bit because this is taking a lot of time. Martha, you sent me this video. You said no one has it. We have it here pulled up. I uploaded it to my subscribers on Twitter. What are we looking at here? Because this is a specific kind of video that you sent me.
Yeah, it's a radar, and what it shows is the cone of uncertainty, and you notice that it shifted further south. There's like a spot there that it shows that it shifted, and there's a newer update that's coming out now, and they're pretending that it didn't shift down south. So it's just what I've been saying. Like, guys, don't rely on this. We're still so far out, and they continuously push back the date and time that the storm is going to hit, and that's normal. It happens. This is not like a government conspiracy or anything, but it is showing that it's coming further south than originally anticipated. And so that also was why I was saying I'm concerned about the Florida government saying, yeah, it's okay, go ahead and evacuate to Miami, where we don't have the ability to have all of these people coming down. So if you're still trying to evacuate, don't come down south. Please go
Martha,
north.
When is it supposed to hit like landfall? Like how many days?
It was supposed to start tomorrow, Wednesday
So
evening.
it's fast. It's coming here fast.
But I think they slowed it down some more time. So now we're saying that it's going to be later on Wednesday or even Thursday morning before we hit, like when we
Land.
start feeling the real hurricane's wind. So it might be delayed even further. We don't know.
Because once it hits land, it gets a little slower. And
Hopefully.
obviously, use common sense. You see a Category 5 hurricane, it's going this way. Like, obviously be prepared. It's not,
Yeah.
even if it's not, the cone is not on Miami, you're
Well,
going to get the residual.
Remember that
And the mic stuff.
around the storm, you're still going to get not only like the biggest fear here, I think, for especially people on the coast is the amount of the water that's going to rise. And they're expecting 10 feet, if not more. That is super dangerous. The flooding.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you have these like all the way around the storm. It is bad. On the south side of the storm, it's the dirty side. It's going to be terrible. Like, just guys, if you're in Florida, get out. Like those that still can, we're kind of stuck down here
be
now.
Prepared. Be prepared.
Be prepared. Well, sometimes it's better to just leave.
Well, a lot of people are trying to leave, as today we also got the reports that 1,300 Florida gas stations have run out of fuel. This is according to CNN, as a lot of roads are kind of blocked off, airports are being shut down, and already we are getting news of fuel supply shortages on the road, with people trying to, of course, escape here. So the situation is fast moving, and it's something that I think we need to stay up on. I might just go live during the duration of a lot of this, just to cover all the latest developments, even if I'm here by myself. But we still do plan on doing some shows tomorrow, and we will see how, of course, that will happen. As there's even some people saying that this hurricane should be categorized as a Category 6, which doesn't really exist for hurricanes, but they're thinking about making it a new designation. Do you think some of this is political, or do you think hurricanes are becoming more powerful than they ever have been before?
This one seems to be the most powerful hurricane I've ever seen in my 40 plus years of living in Florida. This one is wild. The eye of the storm is very small. That is concerning. Is it political? Probably. I mean, we played yesterday John Morales, who's a well-known meteorologist for the Miami area. I mean, he's an OG. He was around with Andrew. That man knows some things about the weather, and he was crying. He had some tears and said that this was climate change, which really, really, really upset me. And I'll tell you why.
That's what he said? Climate change?
Yeah, we played it on the show.
He said that it was based on climate change. And here's the thing. Not only is he crying, which will flip out a whole bunch of people. Imagine you're like somebody. Like,
it's not professional.
It's not professional.
It's an emotional appeal
right.
through this whole climate change thing. Just like the Greta girl who's like, crying.
Right. Like beyond the crying, which is like, I'm sorry, this is weird. He was blaming climate change. Sir, we are in the process of about to experience something that will devastate people. People are about to potentially die, lose everything. And you're going to start, and this is all your own fault for climate change. Like, no, please stop. Please. Like,
yeah. Hurricanes have been happening for a very long time, and they probably have been weaponized. And if you're trying to push this
blame the victims, why don't you?
If you're trying to push this agenda of climate bad because people bad, this is kind of the perfect way to get that agenda out there. As we know, before the 2021 and 2020 lockdowns, there were larger conversations before those lockdowns about implementing lockdowns because of the climate, saying people shouldn't be able to travel. People need 15-minute cities. And if you are a globalist, this does play into the larger arguments that you're making, saying, hey, you guys travel too much. You guys have too much cars. You guys have too much freedom. And because of that, we have too much hurricanes. That's the connection that some people are making here. And they're saying the solution is we'll just take away your freedoms and we'll tax you more and the weather will be gooder. As, of course, no one dares question the military-industrial complex that, of course, is the greatest causer of emissions, as well as the developing nations and other nations like China that literally dump their trash into the oceans.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but the penalty for treason is death, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like where you're going there.
In 15 minutes.
If you make any kind of assertion here,
no, I'm just talking
that's
about
not allowed here.
I'm only.
I don't care if you're speaking for yourself. You're still speaking on the show that we're liable for.
I'm only talking about the law, and I just wanted to say I'd like to explore the legal ramifications in 15 minutes or so. When we are
all
free
right,
of...
we'll do that a little later. But you know what Luke was talking about reminds me of what Bill Gates just recently launched with that vaccine for making...
Still on YouTube here. We got the story pulled up already, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit here.
Okay.
As of course, with a lot of people leaving, there's also the larger possibility of looters. But Florida is a different kind of state, as we saw a lot of looting in New Orleans. We saw the government there during Katrina literally go around and confiscate people's self-defense tools out there. What we saw in Katrina was absolutely horrendous. There's this video clip that's being shared around right now. I don't know if this is from previous hurricanes or if this is the latest hurricanes, but this is some of the response that sheriffs here in Florida are giving out to the general public about individuals who believe that they will be able to get to loot things.
If someone makes that grave mistake and they choose to loot, they might be able to walk into someone's home. They might. But they will be carried out. I ain't playing games. We aren't playing games.
Yes, as of course, looters are something that is a probability of what people will have to deal with. But in Florida, I think the local police departments here are going to have a different approach
God,
towards
I love
that.
this state.
Yeah.
Sometimes this state just makes me so proud. Good on Florida. You know, you might be able to walk into somebody's house, but you're not going to get so lucky on the way out.
Yeah, we are well
Yay.
armed in Florida. Don't try it.
Yeah, don't try us.
Oh, I get it now. I didn't get it.
Yeah, Florida and
I love you,
Arizona,
Steph.
Florida, Arizona, and Texas. I mean, the whole Southeast and the South. Very, very well armed.
Look, okay. What we were trying to say is we got pew-pews and don't try it, okay, man?
Yeah,
Okay.
This ain't San Francisco. This ain't Chicago. You're not going to be looting in Florida.
Yeah, we got Ron
People won't even
DeSantis.
do that. Like, they won't even try.
They won't try. I mean, why would you try? We've got pew-pews. Like, don't try it. Do not try it. Like, we train our children here, okay? We got people. We know.
Yeah, Florida is a very special state with a lot of very special individuals, including the governor of Florida, that, of course, is also taking this opportunity to call out some of the lies that have been being spread about him. As, of course, if you remember, there was major stories 2 days ago about Ron DeSantis being just absolutely disrespectful to the vice president of the United States and not getting on a phone call with her, even though she's the vice president of the United States. As of course, we found out later that Ron DeSantis is in contact with FEMA, is in contact with the federal government, is in contact with Joe Biden, that they've been personally talking to each other on their personal cell phone devices. But it looks like Kamala Harris tried to, of course, butt herself into the conversation and make herself more relevant than she actually is. Ron DeSantis actually responded to some of this. We played you a small portion of this clip in our original broadcast today. We're going to play you the longer broadcast, the longer response from Ron DeSantis against Kamala Harris just a couple hours ago on Fox News.
Both President Trump and President Biden, neither of them ever tried to politicize it. She has never called on any of the storms we've had since she's been vice president until apparently now. Why all of a sudden is she trying to parachute in and inject herself when she's never shown any interest in the past? We know it's because of politics. We know it's because of her campaign. I have zero time to entertain these political games. We're going to continue to do what we need to do to prepare and respond to what may be one of the most damaging storms in the history of the United States. So she says focusing on protecting your people is selfish. I think she ought to look in the mirror.
And right now, Governor, just to conclude, you have what you need from the federal government as well as you feel like you have the resources in place. Is that correct?
Every request we've made, and I've been in contact with the president. I've been in contact with the FEMA director. You know, it's interesting. Harris is not even in the chain of command.
Yeah, what is she
has
even
no
doing?
role in this. I mean, the idea that I should be like worrying about her when I'm focused on the task at hand is just, quite frankly, absurd. So yes, all of our requests have been answered. We have marshaled all state resources that are available to us. It's going to be a very robust response, but it's going to be a lot of damage, and we're bracing for that. I'd ask everyone to keep us in your prayers. We know we're going to get hit, but hopefully we can pray that this storm will weaken and do the least amount of damage possible.
It's crazy that the governor of Florida, while managing the response to all of this, now has to deal with larger questions about him not answering the phone call of Kamala Harris that's irrelevant here. And it was not just the Ron DeSantis that laid down a smackdown against Kamala Harris. It was also her president that she serves under, Joe Biden, also threw Kamala Harris under the bus. And this is big. This is pretty big news. And it's very significant here since it highlights how Joe Biden, who has been kind of ostracized, who's been kind of thrown to the side, who, the Democratic Party establishment literally ran a coup against, came out and had this to say about Kamala Harris and her failed PR stunt that now she is facing a lot of backlash on.
The governor of Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday, and I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call. So I don't know. there was a rough start in some places, but every governor from Florida to North Carolina has been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledged what this team is doing. And they're doing an incredible job. But we got a lot more to do.
Very big statement from the current president of the United States that literally just threw Kamala Harris under the bus. Because if you look at what Kamala Harris has been saying, he directly contradicted all of her claims and said, no, we're in charge, we're taking care of it. And essentially just kind of hinting at, what the hell is Kamala doing? This doesn't make any sense at all, other than her trying to become more politically relevant here.
I'd love for her to release her like phone records of where she like called Ron DeSantis and he didn't pick up. Like if she kind of reminds me of somebody like forgot to do their homework and they're like, no, so-and-so said he was going to turn it in. Like, woman, I'm pretty sure that if you wanted to get a hold of Ron DeSantis, you could. And this is kind of one of those where it's like, just let it go.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden understands that they did him dirty. And now he's like, I'll return the favor. Kamala's down on the polls. We'll be talking about that. She's used to being down. But
damn.
This cackling queen isn't really helping anyone here, especially attacking governors while they're actually trying to help their local citizens. A lot of people in the Carolinas are asking, where is she? Why isn't she here? Why isn't she directly providing aid and assistance? Donald Trump literally flew on a private jet into the Carolinas just to deliver aid, just to do that little larger kind of PR thing. But it's not just a larger PR stunt move. It's also showing the people there that, hey, I care about you. I recognize you. I see that you're suffering, and I want to lend my hand here to help. So that's the larger question. I'm surprised she's not there with rubber boots on in a little dinghy trying to, of course, swim through the mess that was created there.
I hope people recognize the difference in leadership between Trump and Republicans right now and Kamala and the Democrats. Trump literally going on the ground and handing out supplies himself versus Kamala at some lobster roll dinner with celebrities in Hollywood, like raising money for her own campaign. So very big difference in the responses of the two. And then at the state level, look at North Carolina, Democrat governor, and they're having the worst response. People are being threatened with arrest if they try and save people from dying, versus Ron DeSantis talking about a robust response and actually helping people. And don't forget, this state could have been run by Andrew Gillum, a Democrat demon that was found on the floor of a motel. I can't say everything he was doing in that motel.
There was a male worker of the night.
Yeah.
Yes,
that
and
was
a
deceased.
lot of white substances,
Yes.
powders. They powdered their nose.
Yes.
all evening.
White substances and pipes, and he was passed out with this stuff. And he
could have been the governor. He was very close.
He was very close. That first election came really close. We almost had him.
Without people like Laura Loomer and Ali Alexander, the people that stopped the steal in 2018, Matt Gaetz showed up. Without the people that stopped the steal in 2018, Florida would be a blue state and would never have recovered. From Andrew Gillum. It would be turning out like California. In Arizona, where they stole the election in 2020, I'm not thinking 2022. Carrie Lake should have been the governor. Instead, we have this Democrat woman in there. They ruined the state like this. There's migrants all over the floor of the airport. There's a tent city downtown in Phoenix. They're giving away hotels in Scottsdale to these illegals. Like, they ruined the state this fast. So Florida would have been commie blue, just like California at this point, if not for the fact that, Ron DeSantis, I'm not his biggest fan, but he's a Republican that is responsive to the people. And if you're watching this and you're thinking of not voting for Donald Trump, you just don't care about America, humanity, anything. Like, you have to vote for Donald Trump and the Republicans in this election.
I just want to go back to ranting again and say that I'm just so upset that in the middle, like, we just had a hurricane in Florida. Ron DeSantis is busy with that. He also sent our reserve up to North Carolina to help deal with that. So he's dealing with all of this. He's dealing with a potential hurricane that's going to hit us within the next few days. And this is the stuff that, like, Kamala is like, oh my God, he didn't pick up my phone call. Like, seriously, woman, the man is dealing with some stuff and he didn't even receive a phone call from you. Like, I'm so upset that this is like the petty behavior that our federal government throws out at our governor during this emergency situation that we're in.
You tell that woman.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
We also got breaking news right now, and you know it's serious when this happens. All Waffle House diners located in Tampa have officially been closed. So
Oof.
that's when you know it's real.
No, that's it. We're getting out of Florida. All right, we're off with the show. Everybody into your cars. Let's go. The Waffle House closed down. You know it's the apocalypse.
So
seriously, I'm just saying.
yeah, if you can't have Waffle House, you can't have much else. Steph, what are you doing? Please control your buttons here. As of course, we want to tell you about one of the sponsors of Rumble that allows them to keep going and also supports us at the same time. And that, of course, is positive.com/Luke. They actually sent me all the products because we have a dog here. Her name's Atlas. Atlas. When she behaves, she's there. You know, she already knows the deal. They have dog treats. They have these awesome emergency care kits as well. She really likes these products, and they're actually really damn good.
Have you tried one, Luke?
Lauren De La Laguna was eating this and didn't know that this was a dog treat, and I laughed uncontrollably.
Did you give it to her, or did she open the bag?
No. She just grabbed it. She's like, "What is this? This is yummy." And then
What does it taste like?
I wish I had more self control, and if I didn't laugh, but I gave it away, and I absolutely laughed. Do you want to try some?
What did she do?
What does it taste like? I mean, I'm curious.
This one is Blueberry Bliss. It's the superfood waffle available on positive.com/Luke.
No, I'm not going to try one, but I want to see the ingredients.
Here you guys go. Check out the ingredients. As of course, let's be clear. Getting your dog into the vet these days is harder than scoring a reservation at a top Michelin star restaurant. With 15,000 vet shortages predicted by 2030 and emergency clinics cutting hours, pet owners are waiting weeks just to get an appointment. No wonder 66% of U.S. households now have pets, and vets are drowning in fur. And what's the rush? Skin problems and stomach issues? Yep, the same things you could handle at home if you had the right tools. Steph?
Lucky for you, there's Positive Medical Kit. Basically, your dog's personal ER in a box. We're talking allergy meds, anti-diarrheals, poison control, and even wound care. It's like you're suddenly a vet minus the student loans and white coat. You'll save a ton of cash, skip the hold music from hell while calling the vet, and bonus, you might even just save your dog's life. Go to positive.com, use code Luke, and get 15% off.
Someone in the comment section said Atlas is becoming a vegan. How dare you say that to my dog? As of course,
I mean,
she eats better than me.
I have to say that these treats, I was joking around that I would try it, but I think I would actually try it if this bag wasn't filled with Luke sticking his fingers in with,
What's wrong with my fingers?
Listen, the ingredients are goat milk, whole oats, bananas, and blueberries. Actually, it sounds delicious. It's probably better than most of the stuff that we feed our kids.
Listen, I have an unopened bag if you want to try some.
Luke really wants me to try it.
Yeah.
He's going to call my bluff.
Only the best
Only
here
the best.
on the best political show.
What does this one have? Let's see. This one is goat milk, whole oats, bananas, carrots, and turmeric. Oh, but this one sounds more delicious for me. I wanted
Sounds like a bunch of excuses there.
This is opened, Luke. I am not having something that you stuck your fingers in. Sorry.
That could be interpreted in many different ways.
And in every way, that's the answer's still the same. No.
Yeah. Right, each his own. We believe in not forcing people to do anything that they wouldn't naturally do themselves. We still have a bunch of super chats here, but I still wanted to finish the larger conversation we had about Dark Brandon, or as people are calling him, Joe Biden, that clearly has been wronged by the establishment. He's not only calling out the lies of Kamala Harris, whether he did it knowingly or not. I think he did it knowingly. I think there's definitely no love affair between the two. As the New York Post today is also reporting that Biden said that Obama effed up and is to blame for the Russian invasion of Ukraine. This is allegedly because of a new book. And it does seem like Joe Biden, who's been wronged by the establishment, finally is kind of realizing it. And in his last moments is sinking the kind of Democratic Party ship that is absolutely low in the polls. What do you guys think? Do you think Biden is having kind of a tour of just reinventing himself and speaking out against all the people that he is pissed off about?
No, he knows what's coming up next. And this is the last few hurrahs of Joe Biden before oops, I guess Kamala is the new president. I mean, come on. The guy is like off the rails, giving us information. And I think that the powers that be don't like it.
I think if this continues, and I think if he keeps calling out Kamala's lies, I think they're just going to replace him.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that's in the books. I think that's a larger possibility of what could unfold here, where they're just like, we're going to make sure you step down, and you're going to have some kind of health issue, and then Kamala Harris is going to be the commander-in-chief who's going to lead
Trump
us.
But how much time? Like, what is there? Like a month?
Yeah, they don't care.
Like it's been predicted and people have said so, but I'm just curious because I feel like at this point it's kind of irrelevant.
It's for them to celebrate and say, "Yay, the first female president! Feel good." They need some kind of win, some kind of emotional boost to try and get people on their side. Most people
they've already had that win, though. I mean, there was a point where Joe Biden went under anesthesia and they made her temporarily the president. So she's already
They did?
Yeah, she's already been the president at one point, very, very short amount of time. But nonetheless, I mean, they're going to get this win. They're going to be like, oh my God, she's so great. The first female president. Yay.
No, but it would be a serious PR coup for them to do this. And I really don't want it. I don't want there to ever be a woman executive of the president of the United States. I don't want there to be any.
I do. I just don't want it to be her.
No.
Listen,
no.
I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. Whoever the president is, it doesn't change anything for us women. I mean, come on.
This isn't DEI. We just want someone who can do a good job.
I want somebody competent. Can we get somebody competent in there? Like, not the 90-year-old man who's barely awake and not the woman who just cackles. Like, can we have somebody competent in that
No,
office?
Martha, you get a perfect puppet of the corporate media establishment like Tim Waltz, who just got crushed on 60 Minutes. Steph, I think she needs to use the bathroom. Can you open the door for her? And then I'll play this clip right now for everyone. Wow. Knucklehead. He's a JICOM, in my opinion.
He's also friends with shooters. With school shooters.
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
There's those guys as well. So I think he's more than just a knucklehead. But this happening on 60 Minutes for the general public to see is kind of highlighting a larger kind of political shift here because the establishment was shilling for them very heavily. And I think with that kind of deadpan interview, it's kind of surprising to see them kind of being put on the spot and not really answering well to a lot of these questions.
Yeah, that was shocking. And the thing that immediately comes to mind is some of the establishment, you're even Joe Biden putting on a Donald Trump hat. Some of these people do not want either America to completely be destroyed or they really hate Kamala. Like, there's real internal divisions within the Democrats. Like, what's going on is a major, major shift. We have establishment forces, Jamie Dimon, coming out for Trump. The CEO of one of the most evil banks, J.P. Morgan Chase, is now supporting Trump, and some people think that he might be the Treasury Secretary under Trump. So there is this merger going on of some establishment forces with Trump. And frankly, I'll take it. In order to ensure that Trump wins, give me some of their support, but they just can't be running the show. When General Flynn was here yesterday, the questions that I wanted to make sure he was asked are, do you think under Donald Trump is going to prosecute the deep state? Is he going to put his loyalists in office? Or is it going to be more like 2016 where he had this merger that some of the people that we don't love were put in control? So I think Trump is going to win, but the question is, what kind of Trump administration are we going to get?
You know, I've talked about it before. I have this like fantasy of like he comes in and he destroys the deep state. But realistically, we're probably going to have more of 2016. Just because how could one person alone dismantle the entire government? And I mean, honestly, I think that the fear that I actually have is that he does win and people are just kind of complacent and start like, well, we've got Donald Trump, so he's going to take care of it. Like, we all have to pay attention. We all have to be a part of this. It's just like, you know, the government that controls your life the most is not the federal government. It is the local government, and nobody pays attention to it. I've always rant about this. You know, we just elected a very far leftist we re-elected a very far leftist here in Miami, and most people don't even know anything about it. So, yeah, you know, I don't know what Donald Trump's going to do, but if we don't all pay attention, it doesn't really matter, does it?
I'll say this. I said that whoever he picks for VP would be a very big bellwether for what his administration was going to be like. And people can say J.D. Vance did so great at the debate. I mean, Tim Walz fell all over himself, but I don't care about the debate. J.D. Vance was a terrible pick. Mike Cernovich said that he would be assassination insurance, and then Trump was almost shot on a golf course just a few days later. So he's not assassination insurance.
You know who would have been? Tulsi Gabbard.
I don't know about that, but
I think so.
But not only is he not assassination insurance, he went on Fox News with Sean Hannity like immediately after getting the VP nod and started pushing for war with Iran. So if you want to enable the military-industrial complex with your VP pick, that's not assassination insurance. That's not even a good pick. And that tells us what kind of administration that we might be getting under Trump. You know, we're looking at a neocon VP. He's enabling, you know, the RNC right now. He's having to tweet on Truth Social, like his own platform. Hey, RNC lawyers, what are you doing? Look at this. Get this under control. He doesn't have the RNC in his pocket, even with his daughter-in-law, Lara, supposedly as the co-chair. So I don't think he's learned from 2016. He's not staffing up correctly. So Trump just makes sure that they're not going to be completely destroying us. But like Martha's saying, it's up to us to make sure that we get what we want out of the next administration. It's not going to be Trump is Superman and he fixes everything. We got to use the levers of power to keep going.
No one person could potentially ever do this, just like no one person can ever know what everybody needs. Like we, the people, are supposed to be really involved with our government. And also, we have to, at some point, discuss that we need a government so small that it doesn't matter who the president is. We need a government with so little power that it doesn't matter. The reason that it matters is because they have so much power. They have so much control over everything, our lives, our money, whether we go to war, our children, everything.
I also find a lot of the comments that Trump has been making about Iran recently kind of worrying for his larger presidency. I agree and disagree in so many different elements because I think domestically with the health stuff and RFK Jr. there and Tulsi Gabbard there, I think they could repel a lot of this nonsense, especially with what Elon Musk is saying. But we still have a very long ways to go here. And this unraveling and this kind of larger PR disaster for Kamala Harris might be signaling the end to her. And if that happens, there's going to be other things at play here, other October surprises and other attempts to compromise individuals in order for the establishment to be able to do whatever they want to do with you. Now, again, the 60-minute interview was big because they didn't just interview Waltz, they also interviewed Kamala. And she was asked whether it was a mistake to be soft on the border. She, of course, then dodged the question very conveniently here, as this kind of signals the larger unraveling of the establishment candidate.
I hate her so
Wow.
much.
Now, if that's not an unraveling, I don't know what is.
What is the problem according to her? Because she agreed, it quadrupled, and then they cut it in half, so that's still double than what it was. So what exactly does she need Congress to do to get back to where it was when she took office?
She needs people to forget what the question was and move on.
That's exactly right. Oh my God.
I mean, I guess that's my fault for trying to take her as like a serious answer. Like this is on me. Okay, thank you. God.
She will not own up for her flaws. She will take that to the grave.
What is the what is it according to her, according to everybody in the government? Because I don't think either side really has a solution here. What is the problem according to them? And I'll tell you what the problem is according to me, not that anyone cares, and it is the welfare. People are coming here because they're getting free things. Think about it. If you're sitting at home and you don't have a whole bunch of things and they're like, hey, if you just travel a little bit north, you're going to get all these wonderful things. Your kids are going to get educated. You're going to get free money. You're going to get cell phones. You're going to get a hotel room in a wonderful hotel. I'd kind of be like, damn, that sounds really nice. Maybe I'll go.
I was telling my family in Poland, I'm like, guys, come on, right now, cross the border. I'll pick you up. You'll get everything taken care of for you. None of them listened. I've been behind a major push to make Slavic people come over to the United States personally, because we're going to be
home.
We
stay home.
Yeah.
Don't come. No. Stay home. We're full. We already full. We have the largest migration crisis happening in Venezuela. We're good. But whatever.
My Polish people, come on over. As of course we got a representation from Bilbo Braggins on Twitter, highlighting the situation in places like New York and in the Carolinas. Here's the perfect representation of what's happening in America right now. The caption reads here, migrants in luxury New York hotel rooms. And then this one reads, Americans waiting for help after the hurricane here. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate for what you were just describing there, Martha, as people need those kind of visuals here. And I think we finally were able to get them.
We have to be uncensored for me to respond to that.
We should be uncensored shortly. What? No, we're not going there. All right. I guess we're going to be censored all the time today. You know what? It really is annoying because this is something that as a libertarians, we talk about a lot. And it's the carrot or the stick. Like, what is it? If you are incentivizing people who cross the border, whether you consider it legally or illegally, whatever, and you give them free things, people are going to keep coming. It's just, it is what it is. You cannot stop people from coming if they're going to get free things. So stop the free things. Why are we giving anybody anything? Why does an American who works hard, pays his taxes, have to foot the bill for other people to come across the border? I don't get it.
Yeah, I think this is a major issue, and I think this is why Kamala couldn't really answer that question, why she just kind of tried to weasel her way out of it, and why she is so down in the polls right now. As of course, the predicted market is now showing Trump leading up to 8.6% in the betting odds market on Poly Market. This is pretty big, since these are the kind of private numbers with individuals betting money on who's going to, of course, win here. But it definitely does look like Donald Trump is going to be the projected potential winner here. If we don't have any more kind of crazy October surprises, but we're going to have a lot of crazy October surprises. But this is where we are right now in the race. And I think with this, we're going to have more surprises coming our way.
Let's go. Free Ross.
The matchup reminds me so much of 2016. You have a inveterate lying woman running against Donald Trump, and her VP candidate is a total psycho. You know, people forget Tim Kaine was a complete psycho. And now you got Tim Walz.
I hadn't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, and now you have Tim Walz, who's a complete psycho. And again, VP candidate for a lying witch running against Donald Trump. It's very, very reminiscent. And I think we're going to get the same result. I think Trump's going to win. But again, like Martha was talking about, don't just, yay, Trump won. Let me just watch TV now. No, you got to demand change out of Trump, because the guy is not staffing correctly, and we need the people to demand things from him.
Trump, call us. We got you, man. We'll help you staff appropriately. We will sniff out the rats in your organization. No, but seriously, yeah, absolutely. You know, the first time around, he didn't really impress me. And as a libertarian, I'm a little like, you know, we're just going down the same path we always do. We think that one person's going to save us. We think that one person's like Santa Claus is going to come in and ho 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 and fix everything, and it's kind of not the case.
Yeah.
Well, Elon Musk has some very interesting comments about this, as he recently says that he looks forward to potentially firing nearly 80% of the federal government.
That I like.
I know, I love that.
That sounds
He's
something
speaking my language.
really awesome. As of course, Elon Musk cut about 80% of some of the Twitter staff, and Twitter, I think, is running better than ever. I really enjoy the platform. I think it has allowed so many people to have free speech here. And with this larger promise, and Elon Musk kind of coming out there and having very kind of impressive things to say about Donald Trump, this does change the kind of larger political landscape here. He recently did a very kind of impromptu interview with Tucker Carlson, and this is what he had to say.
What? You're fucked, dude. I'm fucked. If he loses, I'm fucked.
It does seem that way. You can't just be like, yo,
yeah, I'm like, how long do you think my prison sentence is going to be? Do you think, will I see my children? I don't know.
Because it's not like you can say, well, yeah, I maxed out to him, but, you know, I have
no plausible deniability. No, and I've been trashing Kamala nonstop.
Oh, I know.
Yep, and
Straight to the gulag.
I think he understands the danger that he is in right now, as he's risking a lot here. Andrew, you're kind of shaking your head here. What do you
That's
think?
a man that knows he's going to win. He knows that he backed the winning side. Trump is going to win. He knows Trump is going to win. That man has no doubt at all. That's why he's laughing like that. He's laughing all the way to the bank. Trump's going to win.
I agree with that because you know what? If he was scared, I think that he wouldn't be joking about it because he knows that it is true.
Well, if you're dealing with like a severe situation, I laugh at it all the time. I try to laugh as much as I can whenever I deal with really severe stuff. This year has been a lot of severe stuff that I've been dealing with personally myself. But, having Elon Musk there, and say what you may about him. Some people really like him. Some people really mistrust him. We're always skeptical of everyone here on this particular show. But having the larger promise of wider government cuts is something that, of course, is long overdue. The government is bloated, it is fat, it is incompetent, it does not give a damn about you, and it is one of the main things standing in your way from reaching personal responsibility, personal freedom, and most importantly, the personal ability to act on your own behalf as a human being in this world.
On the day that Elon Musk helps Trump fire 80% of the federal government, you need to interview Ron Paul. You need to hear from Ron Paul the day the federal government is slashed to pieces.
I was going to say, somebody needs to get that man a chainsaw. Afuera, let's go, let's go. Everybody just like and cut down 80% of the government. I'd say he should go a little further, but whatever, 80. I'll take 80.
Yeah, we haven't been hearing much from Ron Paul about this kind of election, as well as Rand, which is kind of a little odd here as well.
We got to get Ron on here.
Yeah, I could make that happen. We could probably make that happen during the day. We do a special day show.
Yeah.
Just with Ron Paul.
Yeah. Oh my
OG,
God, the GOAT,
and kind of
please.
ask him his thoughts about everything kind of unfolding here.
Yes, please.
As of course, we also just got breaking news right now that Florida state troopers are now escorting fuel trucks to the major evacuation zones that have run out of gas. Here's the clip that people are sharing around right now, showing fuel being delivered here to Florida. So there is a big effort here. A lot of people are working very hard here. A lot of people are expecting the worst still to come. But it is interesting because just continuing the last conversation, Elon Musk is taking not only a lot of risks, but he's taken a lot of proactive actions. As, of course, he also just publicly tweeted that he wants people to sign the petition to support the Constitution, and he's giving away $47 for every person that you refer to sign this petition if they're, quote, in a swing state. His goal is to get 1 million voters in swing states to show support for free speech and the right to bear arms. This is big. That's huge, especially when he brings up the First and Second Amendment here. And it definitely does seem, especially after he changed his profile pic, that he is absolutely full-on dark MAGA. Now, let's just say Kamala pulls this one out of the hat. Let's just say she wins. He understands. It's over. It's over for Twitter. It's over for Rumble. It's over for anyone even slightly standing in the way or saying something slightly offensive to Kamala Harris. That's the way that I think things will unfold under her presidency.
Hopefully he has something up his sleeve. I mean, you'd think that Elon Musk, with everything that we got out of the Twitter files, he's got to have a little something just in case, backup plan, right?
Well, what Luke was saying is, like, John Kerry just came out and said, and I've seen other top-level Democrats say this, I think Hillary Clinton also, that the First Amendment, basically the ability for people to say whatever they want on the internet, is a big problem for them. And if they win, they're going to end it. They're going to put in the same type of hate speech laws that they have in Canada, the UK, Germany, all over Europe. Mm-hmm. So don't censor me, bro, John Kerry, you POS. They want to take away our freedom of speech. This is it.
This isn't your first rodeo with John Kerry either.
No, I took a million volts or whatever for questioning that loser. But point being, this is it for America. You're going to have free speech and the Second Amendment, or it's all going away with this election. Like, it's going to be Venezuela, God forbid, if we don't win this one.
Yep. I'm going to agree with that.
Steph, let's read off some of the super chats that we haven't gotten into yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we have Transphobic Tony saying the bigger news is Democrat socialists flooding states, cities with foreigners, naturalizing them, and fortifying single-party rule fortification. It dilutes local voting power and is treasonous.
That's what Elon Musk was also bringing up, saying that this is going to be the last election if Kamala Harris wins, as it looks like the Democratic political party is fortifying their positions of power within Congress, within the Senate, and the larger actions that they are going to be implementing will essentially allow them to be in charge forever. And I think that's an actual reality here that a lot of people need to understand that they should be more aware of than ever.
Mm-hmm. We have Chrism saying this is going to be our final chance for an election. Between mass immigration in the 10 to 20 million count, mail-in ballots messing with the states, Democrats are trying to have absolute party control.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dog Boy says, I got wiped out in Fort Myers by Ian and rebuilt. Just completed it, and I'm going to get wiped out again Thursday. I also lost my son to cancer. A tough year.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry. That's absolutely horrific. My heart goes out to him.
We also have Dick Dickerson saying, I'm back, bitches. Trump 2024. We love you, Dick Dickerson. We also have King of Biltong saying, Dark MAGA 2024.
Landofbiltong.com, promo code Luke. Great product, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Racist
Michael
Roni.
Flynn loved that Biltong.
Oh, yeah,
he left with all of them.
Yeah, he took all of them yesterday. It was great.
Which is absolutely fine. But great product, high in protein.
Racist Roni saying, Elon Musk recently posted about Democrats aiming for single-party rule. He is not wrong. I left Britain for this reason. The communists are using immigration from certain groups to seize power. All right, we got Finboy Slick saying, weather weapon or not, there's a fairly significant solar flare arriving early Thursday that could help give the storm a second wind.
Oh,
That's
God.
a lot of atmospheric energy coming in all at once. Martha, you have something to say about that?
I can't imagine this storm does not need any more power.
Yeah, really.
Seriously, please no. Please no. Please, son, don't give us a solar flare. I don't know.
Well, we have Lionsgate Heartworm saying the hurricane stuff is a big deal, but the broader picture is worse. UK and Europe has already fallen due pipelining their countries with foreigners. The socialists are stealing power across the world.
Yep. Ain't that the truth?
Wish I could say some words.
Yeah, well.
It's best that you don't, Andrew. As of course,
We're being censored, okay? Okay? Key.
We got Josh Lee saying 2.4 million to North Carolina is 0.00197% of the 122 billion to Ukraine, even though North Carolina is 23% the size of Ukraine. Is this okay?
No, it's not okay. Clearly. You know that. No, we all know that, right? Like, I feel like that's something that every American, regardless of what side they are politically, is like, that's kind of bullshit. Just, I think, maybe, am I wrong here? No?
The globalists will never shut us down. The globalists will never take our freedom. 1776. Ah!
Fuck yeah. Okay. Moving along.
they might.
I'm holding it in, Luke.
Who knows?
I'm really holding it in today. They're lobbing weather weapons at my state. I hate these globalists, and I want to say words that I'm not allowed to say on this internet.
Okay, but don't break the table.
I won't break the table.
I don't think the table's breakable.
I'll calm down.
But how do you really feel, Andrew? Is the question that a lot of people are asking ourselves. We might have to do that a little bit afterwards.
Somebody send a big super chat to force us onto the other platform, please. We're being held hostage. Blink twice.
That's correct.
You guys will like it and enjoy it. There's still so much news to talk about. I'll have a lot of other articles pulled up here, as of course you got Atlas all excited now here as well. As another article that I wanted to really discuss with everyone is this one from the Daily Mail that reads, Democrats admit thousands of registered Arizona voters haven't provided proof of citizenship after a, quote, shock computer glitch. Is this a computer glitch? Well, I think we're living in very strange times, and there's a lot of anomalies happening specifically during this political cycle. We got another article here by Fox News detailing how in Oregon, They have mistakenly registered nearly 1,260 possible non-citizens to vote. Now, in the state of Florida, there are very strong laws to, of course, specifically prevent illegals from voting and people who are not registered from voting as well. If you violate those laws, Florida likes to make you a kind of example, and they have been arresting people for alleged voter fraud as well here. Now, USA Today looks like they're kind of setting the groundwork for what might be some larger kind of tumultuous contention on November 5th with this article that reads, in case of loss, Republicans prepare to blame non-citizen voting, which is incredibly rare. Is it? As of course we just had these articles from Oregon and Arizona. I had a lot of other articles pinned up too, specifically about this. But these are documented cases of this happening. But don't worry, USA Today is telling you this is incredibly rare.
This is what Trump was posting about on Truth Social, saying that it's even worse than this, that they're enabling people to be able to register to vote online, and that people from out of the country have no affiliation with America are being somehow enabled to be able to vote in this election. So it's a very, very serious issue. Trump was even saying, RNC, do something about this now. Like he's posting about it on Truth Social because it's that terrible of a situation. It's amazing we haven't cleaned this up. And if we do win, we need to put in serious, serious protections that stuff like this can never happen again.
You know, one thing they did in Venezuela was that they had people go volunteer to every single one of the polling locations and then upload it to a website, all of the printouts from the voting machines. This is something we could do. I mean, it just takes a lot of us coordinating and getting it done. We could watch this closely, just saying. But yeah, it does annoy me to the no end. Who believes that 2020, 81 million people voted, the most amount of people ever to vote for one candidate, and it was for Joe Biden, more than Barack Obama. And people were like really excited to vote for Barack Obama. And yet, like, I'm being told that the most amount of people that have ever voted in any election was for Joe Biden. Really? I'm sorry, I don't buy it.
Maybe the population increased over time.
Yeah, over 4 years.
It's funny. One of the hot buttons of YouTube, it used to be you can't even discuss like the election fraud. They've moved on to other things because like everybody knows 2020 was stolen. It's like it's fine now.
I don't think everybody knows this. I think there's plenty of people that are still like, no, it was fair and free elections and blah, blah, blah.
I don't even think the Democrats believe that. They're like cheering on, like, yes, like we want these illegals to vote. Like they're cheering it on.
Of course, because they're on the winning team doing these things. That's until it's used against them, which we see all the time. When one president does stuff that, they like, they're like, yay. And then the other president uses the same powers that the other one, uses. And they're like, no, that's so wrong. We need to put him in jail. If you break the rules for one, you break the rules for all, and this is the problem.
Yeah, YouTube would like you to know that there were no shenanigans at all in the election where, of course, Donald Trump lost. But, of course, questioning the election where he won is totally okay. So that's the type of rules that we are kind of living by here on YouTube land that doesn't like you talking about these very specific issues. What do you believe happened here? Let me know in the chat room, of course, as a lot of people have a lot of questions. And a lot of people have kind of, this is another aspect of this that I think is important to entertain here, have kind of lost faith in the voting system. So I think there also could be some kind of deliberate kind of astroturfing effort to try to undermine people voting by saying it doesn't matter, they're going to take it anyway. So I think that's another aspect here that I think is worth paying attention to and entertaining here when we're dealing with all of this. But again, I think we need a lot of people to get involved. I think we need a lot of people to participate and a lot of people to pay attention to what's going on here more than ever, as there's a lot at stake at this personal kind of election. We're going to go now to callers of LukeUnfiltered.com, as it looks like we have Corey on the line live with all of us. Corey, thank you so much for being a member. Thank you so much for calling in. I know you just got back from your walk. Great to have you. You're live on air with everybody.
Good to be here, Luke. I was about to ask if there is weather manipulation, do you think it's just domestic or it's international people internationally coming together and affecting the weather in America?
That's a good question, especially if you understand the larger kind of capabilities that not only the U.S. government has, but also a lot of foreign governments. So is this the act of potentially foreign governments here? Well, again, we don't know. There's no real kind of smoking gun. We don't have the proof. We don't have the evidence here. We just know that they have the possibilities to do all of this. But are they? I think there's a big likelihood that, yeah.
I mean, the UAE talks about seeding the sky for rain all the time and have potentially done it. So I think that they've blatantly said that they do. Now, whether the UAE is going to use it against the United States to create a hurricane, that's a whole other, I don't know.
I think it's definitely the HARP machines. And, people have even the flight path of these planes that went and seeded the sky out in the Gulf. Like, they've got the flight exactly where the hurricane is and where they wanted it to go. They've got the flight path of these planes.
I played those videos in my earlier report today, but at the same time, there's also scientific planes going in there to try to calculate and understand what we're dealing with here as well. So. Yeah, there's also that. I like to be a conspiracy theorist, but I also like to look at two sides of the story here, and that's what we try to provide you here.
The other thing I wanted to say is if you look at China, they used to get hit by typhoons very badly. Typhoon is a hurricane. It's just on the other side of the hemisphere. The other side of the globe, different hemisphere. And if you look at the deaths caused by typhoons in China, it's way down. It's way down. So not only is there the ability to create these storms, there's the ability to disperse them. The government could have gone in and used the same technology that we know about to create this stuff to help disperse the storm, and they don't use it here. They do use it in China. That's why their deaths are way down. You can look at it from hurricanes in the last decade, way down, because they use this stuff. But in America, we're using the technology to hurt conservative red states where people actually care about the country. We're just going to lob hurricanes at them with the HARP machine.
Is HARP domestic? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is it domestic?
Is HARP? Is that domestic or?
Yeah, it's federal government.
It's our federal government.
Where is it in Alaska?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesse Ventura went out there once. There's a great report that he filed. With the HARP machine, he went out there and like, what are you guys doing out here? And they're not going to talk to him, of course, but he got the thing on camera and he talked all about it back when he had his, I think it was Spike TV. He had a show called Conspiracy Theory, which was a fun show, whatever. But he had a good report on HARP on there.
I was going to say the guys that you potentially have the flight pattern for might be the NOAA planes going into the storm, and I just want to little side note, those guys are absolute heroes. They're flying into Cat 5 storms. They fly into storms several times a day, but these guys are flying at 10,000 feet through some of the worst weather, and those guys are heroes. So just want to, if you see those planes, it's probably those guys. And I just want to make sure that we are not talking smack about them, because those guys, honestly, hats off to them. I go through a little bit of turbulence in an airplane and I'm like, oh my God. And so these guys are literally flying into the belly of the beast.
Yeah, I played a video of one of these planes flying into the eye of the hurricane, and it was something else.
Yeah, those storm chasers, those guys
crazy.
have cojones of steel. And I just want to say that, again, hats off to them. And I appreciate what they do, because without their information, we wouldn't know what is coming at us. So there's that. So I'm with you, Luke. I'm half conspiracy theorist, half let's not talk about these guys that are yeah.
Yeah, you can't go. Yeah, I mean, it's important to go down the rabbit hole, but it's also important to never lose, the side of light and the side of truth and the side of reality. Because a lot of people kind of lose themselves in these kind of wormholes, and they go off and they think everything is a conspiracy and everyone is bad and everyone is a controlled opposition and it's all hope is lost. And they not only taken the black pill, but they're also acting in a kind of self-sabotaging way that really isn't beneficial towards society or just even the overall conversation, because you need some nuance. You need to look at both sides of the story, and you need to lay it out for people to make out their own opinions here. Do I know exactly what's going on here? No, but here's the circumstantial evidence and proof that we have that does suggest that this could possibly be at foot here. It's up to everyone else to investigate, look into, and then make their own kind of determination afterwards, after being able to look at both sides of the story. We can't just be listening to ourselves themselves and be like, yes, it's all bad. It's not always all
you
bad.
can't be saying I'm always right or anything like that. You know, you have to question. You have to say you're wrong. You know, if you're
Absolutely.
wrong.
Yeah.
That
And
is
whatever
true.
those guys are making, they're not making enough. They need a raise.
And sometimes there's more than two sides. There's a lot of different sides. So questioning and being open, and it's not only like theirs and our side. There's like so many other perspectives out there too.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're searching for the truth, then you're going to care about that.
Mm-hmm.
Corey, thank you so much for calling in. Anything else you want to ask us?
I was just gonna say in New Jersey, it's Bill A4743. That's one of the first steps they're taking to have illegals vote here. I don't know if they're doing it then. That's so the illegals can get driver's licenses, and then I don't know if they're using like DMV voter rolls to then. I don't know if that's exactly how they're voting, but I think the first step is that bill. It was passed in May of 2021. I just want to, in case someone from Jersey is listening.
Dirty Jersey, of course, is how we New Yorkers said it. Corey, thank you so much. We got you a supplement from wearechange.shop already, right? Did you get it in the mail yet?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. Always appreciate the callers. Always appreciate the kind of questions that we get here. Thank you so much, Corey. Have a great night.
Thank you very much, Luke. Have a good day, guys.
Awesome.
Bye.
Very interestingly, you just brought up Jesse Ventura there, Andrew. Jesse Ventura actually endorsed, can you guess who? Kamala Harris. This election cycle. So a very interesting kind of turnaround for Jesse Ventura, who had his own kind of conspiracy theory show that was very popular as he was hanging out with Alex Jones and reporting on a lot of the kind of crazy, more wild stuff in our society that looks
I wonder
like
if he was at
maybe forgot about.
any of the Diddy parties or something. They clearly have something on that man. I refuse. Him and Jessica Alba. Like, why are we all of a sudden everybody's endorsing Kamala?
Well, you know, as Governor Ventura, I actually approached Donald Trump and I wanted him to fund me for president in 2016. But instead, Trump ran himself and won. And, you know, as a self-entitled boomer, I actually felt very, very jealous of what Donald Trump did. And so I've been talking trash about Donald Trump for many, many years. Even on the app Clubhouse, Andrew Meyer asked me about all this. And I was very, very upset and bitter when he did that. And, you know, I wanted to be the president, and I'm never going to be. And Hulk Hogan was at the RNC, and I wasn't. So now I'm just going to be very bitter. I'm going to say that I want the first woman to be president because I want to seem cool. But actually, I'm just very, very jealous of Donald Trump and Hulk Hogan.
I think that could be a possible assessment here. I think
that was good.
Probable of what's going on here.
That's exactly what it is.
Yep. As of course, moving forward, I want to bring up another kind of important news article that a lot of people are talking about right now, since we are talking about the potential of a lot of new October surprises before November 5th, as we got a new report from Congress talking about the larger terror threat that has now spread to, quote, 29 states. Yes, you heard this correctly. A new House report warns of a persistent terror threat in the United States that could be done by foreign jihadis and extremists around 29 states. Florida is one of those states. It'll be interesting to see if some kind of lunatic will try something here, as, of course, there was another attempted kind of jihadi attack here that didn't really work out. There was also other attempts in Texas that were stopped by individuals who, of course, were concealed carrying. As we also have breaking news that law enforcement officials have allegedly arrested an Afghan man in Oklahoma City for allegedly plotting a mass attack on November 5th. So that also is something that we also learned today, this larger plot by this Afghan migrant in Oklahoma.
What gets me also about the dissident right, the Jake Shields, the Nick Fuentes, these people, Donald Trump just promised to deport all of these type of people yesterday. He's like, he's going to deport the Somali, Afghan, Libyan, these people that just got here that are extremely birate, violent criminals, jihadi, whatever. But because it's pro-Jewish to deport them, these people are upset at Trump for saying that. Like, you're a right winger that wants to control the demographics in the country, but you're upset at Trump for promising to deport Afghan, Libyan, Somali. It doesn't make any sense. The people that are dissident right but are counter-signaling Donald Trump, these people are either straight traitors or feds, assets, literal assets, compromised assets. Nick Fuentes telling people to go into the building on January 6th. He doesn't get charged and everybody else does. These people are definite assets or traitors or paid by Qatar. Something is off with these guys to be saying anything but vote for Donald Trump right now.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess so. I don't know how I feel about this. You really like to bring these people up, though.
These people are potentially swinging young men, 18 to 30, young, lost men, these guys that don't know what they're doing. They're very online. And you have Donald Trump lost, even with all the cheating. He lost by like 30,000 votes across 3 states. So you don't need to be that powerful or that influential. If you have a small niche, but that's very, very dedicated, if you have a little cult like these noticers on the internet do, which I run into these people all the time. I get all kinds, oh, you're a Jew, you're a Jew. I get these idiots, these fatherless fools that can only see, oh, Israel. I thought you're America first. Stop focusing on Israel. Start focusing on the problems in America. And these people are being led astray by these idiots on Twitter that all they can think about is, oh, is Donald Trump friendly with Jews? Therefore, it's bad for America. No, that's like the 30th most important issue in this country. Weather weapons, these wars that Trump is never started a war, Donald Trump. First president in 50 friggin' years. Didn't start a war. He's not going to once he's president either. He's going to close the border. He's promising deportation. I'm going to deport all these radicals. So that's the Somalis, the Afghans, the Libyans that just got here. They're going back. But these people that are supposedly so concerned about demographics, they still don't like that he's going to deport these people. That's why I say it's weird. It's either Qatari money, they're shills, or they're Fed assets, or they're just straight traders, and I don't even believe the last one. I think they're being paid.
Well, I would disagree with you a little bit because I think American policy in the Middle East does matter, especially when it comes to financing a lot of the kind of radicals and these Islamists. This guy that was just captured, that was just arrested, specifically in Oklahoma, was a member of a Wahhabist terrorist organization that your tax dollars paid for. Yep. If you look at the larger actions of what's happening there now with the wars that are being started, there's a lot of people that are mad, specifically at the United States, since the United States is giving the weapons to this country that are landing in their territory, and they're saying, we got to deal with America now. Their borders are wide open. And I think this Afghan migrant that we're hearing about from the corporate media took advantage of that. It's my tax dollars that are financing the bombs, and it's my tax dollars that are rebuilding the cities, but then also paying for the radical Islamists that are coming into the United States and then doing whatever they want to our people here. Luckily, this guy was stopped, but with this other terror threat that we were talking about in 29 other states, this is a reality that we're dealing with now that I paid for. So when we're dealing with the situation in the Middle East, I do think there needs to be a legitimate, smart conversation about what's happening with Israel, because I think both of the parties are representing the same kind of ideology there, which is just allow them to do whatever they want. And if I'm financing it, I don't want that to happen. I don't want my money going for their bombs. I don't want my money going to rebuild the destruction that the bombs that I paid for caused. And I don't want to pay for the radical Islamists that are also being radicalized by our policy. So I think there absolutely needs to be a larger conversation about making Israel independent and self-reliant on itself.
I agree. I don't want any foreign aid for any nation. I want the military-industrial complex to be reined in. But for the people that are black, like these people are typically black-pilled. They're depressed about they can't own a home. They can't get a good job. The way that society is failing in America, it's not because of these policies. It's because we've shipped all our manufacturing to China. So there's no middle-class base in this country anymore. We have all of the money that we're collecting in this country, going not just to Israel, but out to Ukraine and every little tin pot dictatorship across the globe. We're controlling these people with our dollars, and we're not building infrastructure in this country. There should be massive government programs to build infrastructure in this country. I'm no fan of FDR or a lot of those programs, but it's a fact.
I'm against that too. I don't want any of my money going to anything. I don't want a fat cat bureaucrat, union labor, 10 guys watching one guy actually dig a hole, me paying for it with more government bloated projects. I don't want any of it, man.
Plus old technology. I mean, no.
No, I moved to Texas for a while years back, and when I was there was a pothole in the major highway there, bigger than the wheel of a car. And the interstate program was built under Dwight D. Eisenhower like 70 years ago, and the roads in this country are failing. The infrastructure in this country is failing. I'm not a big fan. Let's use the government to do this and this and this. But at a time where there's no jobs for people, the infrastructure is crumbling, we're spending this money anyway. It should be used to fix the nation, to build the infrastructure. And all these people that have no possibility of getting jobs. In the meantime, while we're bringing back manufacturing, this is a quick way to actually give people jobs.
I disagree. I say let people keep their own money. Give the money back to the people. Let them decide their own fate. Let them decide their own kind of business endeavors that should be incentivized rather than de-incentivized by the current system that keeps taxing them to death.
And that you can't choose. Yeah. You can't choose what you want to contribute towards. You can't choose where your money goes. I mean, fine. You want the government to build infrastructure? Let's do a GoFundMe style. Yeah. And your taxes go to, what I want to pay for roads. Somebody might want to pay for, war somewhere. Let's go for it. But as far as being taxed to buy for infrastructure, I don't agree.
No, that's where it's supposed to go. That's like, I feel like if you go look at some other countries, they do have nicer infrastructure, and people are like, oh, China's living in like the future, or Japan's living in the future. No, it's like we're living in America.
I'm not talking about taxing the people. I want to end the IRS just like Ron Paul. I want to end the income tax. I'm talking about tariffs. All this stuff. The entire government used to be funded with tariffs. If we had reasonable tariffs on China and all the countries that import to us, we wouldn't need to be taxing the people here. We let these people dump their, in China's case, slave-made goods on this country. We don't tax them at all. We could literally fund the government.
But the tariff taxes make sure that we have to pay higher price for the goods. So I'm against that. It's a silent tax. I'm against tariffs. I'm against taxes. I'm against all the regulations personally. Same. Let people thrive. America is great because the government used to stay out of the way. The government allowed people to say whatever they wanted to. And again, there's specific elements where that didn't happen and that wasn't true. I understand the Civil War. I get it. But the larger representation of idea of being able to make it on your own and to do something and to provide a service and to be actually able to survive financially is the larger idea that has been practiced in America more than I think it has been practiced anywhere else in the world. We need to go back to that. So if anyone has Donald Trump's ear, tell him, no big projects. I don't want any of that. No $2,000 checks like last time. No stealing people's money. Lower the tax rate. He's promising to do that, and that's one reason why I like him, and that's one reason why I think he will be a lot better off than, of course, Kamala Harris. That will increase the taxes.
Deportations cost a lot of money.
I don't think. Well, that's another thing that he should be spending on, though, is a deportation force. But you can't have a free market compete with slave labor, which is essentially what China had. They burned the farms. They made these people go to the cities. They used to have to put nets around the factories. The Foxconn factory in China had nets because the workers jumped to their death so often. You can't compete with a slave market.
Americans
in a free
used to compete with that market by offering better goods and services. America used to produce things here. The problem was this trade-off of like, oh, well, China's going to produce stuff cheaper and we're going to do other things. Listen, the government has been meddling for so long that they've completely messed up. They've messed up our supply chain. We now don't produce anything, hence the shortages. And we have all these problems. Get the government out of it. I'm 100% with Luke. I think the government, everything they touch, they have the opposite of the Midas touch. The Midas touch was everything that King Midas touched would turn to gold. They have the opposite of this, and everything the government touches turns to absolute
crap.
Yes, thank you. And so,
Caca.
it is terrible.
Poop.
Let's get the government out of our lives. And again, you can do a GoFundMe style government.
Yeah.
If you want to fund this infrastructure, this project, this whatever, by all means, Go ahead.
Yeah, if Lindsey Graham wants to fight the Iranians, go over to Iran. Show them what you got there, soy boy. Let's see how you could fight for your larger
And have other
ideas.
people fund him
Exactly.
and raise armies. We don't need the federal government doing
The
this.
government's involved in this stuff right now. We give favored nations
And
status.
that's the problem. And that's the problem.
No.
And that's why
We
we're in
are
such a
against
mess
this,
as we
yes.
are in
But-
right now, because the government says, I have to do everything for everybody. No, the people do it. And that's what makes this country great.
And here in Florida, we're about to figure out that the government is not going to come save you. You're about to have a storm come in. If you need to be saved, it is going to be your neighbors. It is going to be the people that you created in your own communities that you have connections to. If you need something, we are about to realize, hopefully, that the government is just, it's ridiculous. We do not need them. We do not want them. And they steal from us and keep us as tax slaves.
Exactly.
The other governments dumping their stuff on us. It's literally called economic warfare. China doing all the. If you read Confessions of an Economic Hitman, that's what the U.S. did to a lot of other places. You dump what they can't produce. We dump it on them, so we control them. China's doing that to us. It's warfare. So not allowing their slave-made goods is actually defending the country. So
But their
that's one of the few
slave-made
things Ron
goods
Paul has
are
wrong.
cheap, and we are going to continue to buy it because Americans can't afford to spend full price to buy something made in America with American laws that government has now put on us. Do you know how many layers of taxation there is on every single item you purchase? I once did a post about like bread and how many layers of taxation there is on every loaf of bread you buy, from everybody who has to drive every ingredient to the baker to just everything. There's so much that the government has screwed up. And now it's like, oh, well, we're in a war. Yeah, I know. And it's great that the American government started this. Let's stop it.
The reason people have less money to purchase this stuff is because they're literally making less, not just making less money, making less
They got
stuff.
us off the gold standard. Our money is worthless. Our money is whatever you faith in the U.S. government. That is what our money is worth. We are literally these monkeys out there fighting for these pieces of paper that our government's like, this is worth something. We are like ridiculous. When you look at American lives, like we live in this rat race. It is a ridiculous concept. Go out there, work your tail off, put your kids in a school. Don't raise them yourself. Put them in daycare so you can go chase these pieces of paper that the government says are worth it, that are backed by, nothing. Nada.
Andrew, you know what the best government is?
What?
No government.
No government.
No government. Yes.
That's a pipe dream.
Why is it a pipe dream? Why do people say this?
Well, I mean, everything would have
Communism
to
is a
go
pipe
down
dream.
for that.
Communism is a crack pipe dream. That
needs to be a shirt, Luke.
that you guys want to reinvent for your own purposes.
You know,
Again,
you know how narcissistic it is for communists to be like, this time it's gonna work. This guy, listen, Fidel Castro, and I've said this before. Fidel Castro was I absolutely hate him. I hope he's burning in hell. But the man was an evil genius. And if you think that your second-rate Tim Walz is going to somehow impose communism better than Fidel Castro, like how narcissistic do you have to be?
Yep.
Nobody can make communism happen. It's not going to happen. Stop trying to make it happen.
What?
Yeah.
Tariffs are not
Andrew,
communism. The founders of America
Wait,
put
wait.
tariffs on other nations. That's not
So
communism.
let's make it okay.
That's
They
not
made a
communism.
mistake.
Andrew Red Pinko Communist Meyer here. Trying to call for more government.
What the hell are you talking about?
Andrew, anytime the government's involved in your life, you know what that's called?
What?
Communism. All right. I'm sick of the communists. I'm sick of government in my life. I'm sick of the regulations. I'm sick of the taxes. Let us be free. Freedom must reign back in America, and that happens with a free market and capitalism.
Bravo, Luke. Bravo.
So,
yes, thank
Monarchism is communism, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it is.
You shush there, you little pinko.
Only here. Only here.
This is the top-notch quality entertainment that we bring you, ladies and gentlemen.
I have a question though, but like, what would happen if the government decided to boycott China products? Like, what is that called, and what would that be?
Well,
Yeah,
you're
a
not going to
doomsday.
be able to. We're not going to
If
have
we
any
can't,
products.
like, let's say we cannot go on Temu. Like, we can't just not buy anything from China. What would happen?
We have to wean ourselves off. Like literally,
That
we get
makes sense. That's
pharmaceuticals and
real.
all sorts of stuff. We have to start. First of all, it's
But
not
is
only,
that plausible? Like,
Yes.
to really
We used to
because
make
we're
everything
dependent,
here.
should we not be interdependent?
We need to
No.
have tiered tariff systems. China has the highest tariffs. Indonesia, some other places have less tariffs. So we start moving things away from China, and then we also start building manufacturing back in the United
Stop
States.
taxing us to death and bring back manufacturing. And how do you bring back manufacturing? By stop taxing us to death.
And regulating us to death.
Exactly.
If you want businesses to come back that are not state controlled, you got to get the government out of it.
You cannot. You cannot milk a cow and sell it to your neighbor in this country without like some crazy regulation on you. Like,
Without the FDA literally barging down your door with SWAT teams and taking
telling you
away
that-
your milk away
Do you
from
know
you.
why
without-
Toyota started building cars in America?
Why?
because they're an American company.
Because Reagan put tariffs on Japan. If you put tariffs on
Oh, yeah,
other
that's right, they're a
nations,
Japanese company.
they have to build things here, and then you get jobs here. People have more money. That's why dumping things from other countries here without having any jobs here. That's what makes you
So
dependent.
you think that an
on
American
other
company
countries.
couldn't make a better car? We now have Tesla, which is an American, well, sort of American company. Like we would have had so many better cars come up if we would have just had the free market available.
We must have tariffs on China, or we will
Has
be
that happened
dependent
before?
on them. The reason that
Yes or no?
You could
Well,
go
yes.
to China,
It has.
and I agree with the strategy of saying we'll match your tariffs, but if you end them, we'll end them too. I kind of agree with that larger sentiment.
China's never going to let us put our products there in a free system. Like it'll never ever
It's okay.
happen.
China has a better solution. They just went to El Salvador and are opening a whole bunch of factories because with the trade agreement that we have with Central America, they can just produce their products in El Salvador and then get it across the border into America without tariffs. You know, you guys are playing like regular checkers or whatever when these people are playing like 4D chess.
If you're dependent on another nation to give you industrialized goods and all you give them is raw materials, you are literally a colony of that other nation. China is literally colonizing us by dumping industrial products. We don't make industrial products and we rely on them. The only way America will ever flourish again is if we manufacture, if we're industrial.
Stop the regulation
But
and
private,
taxation.
you're saying private business and enterprise, right? We
Yes.
need more private businesses
The
and
only way you
enterprise. You know
incentivize
the best
it-
way to get that?
Incentives.
and taxation and regulation.
Government not standing in the way from and preventing that from
Absolutely.
happening. And the main thing that's preventing businesses from thriving is government right now.
Most businesses spend so much money just going through the regular tax season. How many billions of dollars are wasted in profitability in people, in accountants worrying about the tax system when the government very well knows exactly what we all owe? The American government is just a disaster in terms of what they do with American businesses. We could end this. We could streamline it. We have so much technology. We could have this solved. And yet here we are, letting these people that have no business controlling us.
Trump's first month in office, when he was talking about tariffs and making it happen, Carrier, which was huge air conditioning manufacturing company, Ford, they had to move plants from Mexico back into the United States. It didn't increase costs in the U.S. It created jobs in the U.S. We have to have tariffs or we will never get our economy back.
Both of you guys or parties here are talking about the same thing, which is kind of replicating what nature does. It's like if you are self-sustainable, you are thriving. And whether it's anarchist view or the current situation that Andrew is saying the solutions for that we're in now, either way, the main takeaway here is that we need to be self-sustainable and not depending on outside inputs.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But I'll give you a great
Except
example.
for the communism that Andrew wants
I'll
to
give you a
impose
great
on everybody. And the
Alex
theft.
Jo-
How are you going to take you're going to take my money to have some kind of bloated bureaucrat build a factory? That's what you're calling for. That's what you're calling for, Andrew.
It's better than going outside of the U.S., though.
Alex Jones sells T-shirts, right? And he did this. Yeah, okay, you can have a U.S.-made shirt. It's $30, or you can have a Mexican-made shirt. It's $20 or $15. And do you know what people bought in overwhelming numbers?
The cheaper one?
They bought the cheaper Mexican shirt that didn't support Americans.
That
So-
will probably fall apart. Again, American goods, you get the quality as opposed to the cheap price, and people will make that decision, and that's okay. People should be able to
no.
decide.
People are dumb, and people need to have.
I don't
and
agree
told
with
what to do, and they need to be robbed, and they need to be looted.
We need a republic, not a democracy.
People are not
a
dumb.
republic.
Wait.
This
So
is a
Andrew is
republic.
saying we're going to force people to pay more, and it's going to come from the U.S. But then over time, that expensive thing will get lower because more people are going to start making.
The reason
is
this
that
is
true?
Speak
the
into the
reason
mic
this
and work
is a
the camera,
republic
Steph.
and not a direct democracy is because not everybody is as smart as everybody else. And in states like Wyoming, for example, there's not that many people there. They still have 2 votes in the Senate because landowning people, like, oh, I own a lot of land. They're more invested in the country. They have more at stake, and probably not only do they care more, they probably have more going on up there. So direct democracy doesn't work. Republican style government works, and we have to have, not everybody knows what to do. We have to put in place policies to help people make better decisions. And if you let them buy the $10 Chinese shirt or the $15 Mexican shirt instead of American made shirt, okay, it's cheaper now, but the long-term effect, it destroys the economy of the nation. We become dependent on places like China. We don't even make our own pharmaceuticals. We need them. We desperately need what they do.
We used to make our
right now.
pharmaceuticals, and this is part of the problem. Again, government creates the problems, and then they want to sell you the solution. And, you know, I'm just going to go a little bit back to what you just said. I have a problem with thinking that people just aren't smart enough. Nobody knows better for you what's right for you than you do. The individual knows way more than a government ever will. And this notion that some people just aren't smart enough to vote, I have a problem with this.
Do you know the quote,
Survival of the
Republic,
fittest
if you
and
can,
all of that.
You know what the most important minority is in this country?
What's that?
The individual.
The individual. The one
a
person.
republic if you can keep it, okay? Because they knew you'd need a smart populace. This country elected in succession.
And yet we let the government educate our kids. Clearly, part of the problem is exactly what you're advocating for, which is the government. The government literally teaches our kids, indoctrinates our kids. They have a prison, a education to prison pipeline that they have going on. And you're like, you know, let's add some more government to this. I bet that's going to work this time around.
I'm talking about meritocracy, the people with the best ideas and the most
That
stake,
doesn't happen in government.
and
You
the
know
most
where that
stake
happens? In a free market.
Listen, we had in this country George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, elected back to back to back to back. The populace of this country is not doing so good.
I'm sorry,
we
but
need the
I've
best
been a libertarian
ideas.
long enough to know that nobody else could get on that ballot. You need to have either a Republican or a Democrat after your name in order to get on the ballot. It is almost impossible.
Primaries exist.
Oh yeah. Have you tried getting in a primary as a third party candidate? Why don't we ask Jo Jorgensen what she thought? I bet that all the work that all of us volunteers put in to get her even on the ballot in the first place, that was just nothing, right? Meanwhile, Republicans and Democrats just waltz on in. It's like, this is our candidate, and they are in.
Andrew would probably like Jo Jorgensen since she's a pinko too.
Damn.
My God.
Damn.
How are you
I
calling
want to
me a
remind you
commie
that
for
Ron
calling
Paul,
for tariffs?
Ron Paul was a
crazy.
libertarian at one point and tried to run that way too.
Anyway, this is a really fun conversation. We also have another extremely funny update from Florida that we're going to get into in a little bit. But before we do, we want to tell you about Rumble's 1775 coffee. As of course, this is coffee that we had here in this house. We drank all of it. They're sending me more, and it's actually a great product. Andrew has another bag there too. We went through 2 of the bags, and I'm excited for them to send me more of this product.
Yeah,
as of
really
course,
empty? It's empty.
both of them are
drank it
empty.
all.
They're really empty.
He's a caffeine addict.
As you know, Rumble needs your. I have 1 coffee a day. Coffee addict? What is this slander
I am
here?
a coffee addict.
You're a commie
I
for
have
saying
I'm like smelling the bag.
we're having fun here, but it's a really good coffee, and by buying it, you support Rumble. Rumble, by the way, their headquarters, their servers, they're on the path of this major hurricane too. So if you want to support Rumble, check out 1775coffee.com/Luke, because did you know that up to 45% of your coffee could be filled with mold toxins? Yep. Your morning cup might not just be bitter. It could also be bad for you. Even after roasting, some of that makes it into your cup. At 1775 Coffee, they decided to do something about it.
They didn't just pick any beans. They literally climbed mountains in Bolivia, dodging llamas and rainstorms to find the perfect ones. The high altitude and cool air slow down the growth of their beans, locking in bold, rich flavors you won't find anywhere else. Less than 30% of the world's coffee is single origin like theirs, so you're getting coffee with real integrity, no blending, no shortcuts. So if you're ready for a real cup of coffee, visit 1775coffee.com. Use code Luke.
Yep, 1775coffee.com/Luke. Check it out. And by supporting them, you also support Rumble and other free
It's
speech
from Bolivia,
platforms. Yep.
So people should buy it now before we put tariffs on them to the next Trump administration. Get it on discount right now.
Maybe. We'll see what commies and central controlling plans will be institutionalized during the potential future Trump administration. Listen, I'm going to argue that the people are have the right to make their own decisions for themselves as individuals. And I think that's perfectly highlighted as the market speaks. And when the market speaks, it really does show you the larger truth of our current reality. As right now in Florida, there are pictures like this that are being shared around showing empty shelves except for Butt Light. Yes, you heard that correctly. Floridians are desperate to buy everything except Butt Light, the woke beer brand of the corporatist establishment. So I love this state. I love everything it stands for. I love the people here, and I think this is why it's directly under attack, in my opinion. This was a great show. Thank you guys for filling in last minute. I know our guest was supposed to be here. He wasn't. He might be here tomorrow, or there might be a crazy storm that we're going to be dealing with. Either way, we're going to be doing our best to be live 6 p.m. Eastern here on thebestpoliticalshow.com. Martha, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find out more information about you and support your work?
You can find me on X and IG at Bueno for Miami.
You could find Andrew on the Code Pink website and the Revolutionary Communist website as well.
Amazing.
As he will be there cheerleading for his central control of the economy. Right, Andrew?
But seriously, Andrew's X discussion with Candace the other day is still one of the best ones ever. So, you know what? We sometimes disagree a little bit, but I love you. I think you're an awesome person. And yeah, don't tase me, bro.
Yeah, we like giving Andrew a hard time. That means we like you.
Thank you very much. The last thing I'll say on that whole thing.
Oh, no. You're going to start up again. You're going to start. We're going to have to rebuttal. We're going to have to rebuttal.
We're
going to be here all night. We're going to be here till the hurricane hits.
I absolutely want the people to speak because the people want Donald Trump at this point. But once Trump is in there, he needs to have the ideas that come from the best and the brightest, not necessarily what every single person thinks is right. Because if we let anybody do anything, we're allowing people to turn boys into girls with surgery. People have to be given
I'll work
laws.
on him. I promise all of you out there, I will work on him. I will get him
Libertarian
into...
free-for-all gets you Chase Oliver that thinks it's okay to turn a boy into a girl. So no, we're not allowing that.
Excuse
we're not
me,
allowing
Chase Oliver
unfettered
is
economic
a
warfare.
Product of the takeover of the Libertarian Party. But anyways,
No, that
where
pure
can people find
libertarianism
you?
gets you Chase Oliver. Anyway,
Where can people find your great work? Go check out the Alex Jones video game, por favor.
AlexJonesGame.com and x.com/TheAndrewMeyer. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Steph, on the buttons.
Andrew Meyer, the future Mao Zedong.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Seriously, Luke.
No.
Oh, man. All righty.
Steph.
We got a question. Are we saving it?
We could do it now or we could do it tomorrow. Do you
Question
guys
for tonight's guest, you mean?
we do the question thing.
All right,
do you want to call?
Yeah,
It
It was a great question, though. I think it was meant for the pastor.
Yeah, I think it was meant for a pastor too. So
if it's meant for him, let him have it.
the guest that was supposed to be on today was friends with Michael Flynn, and Michael Flynn asked them a very specific question for him.
Yeah.
So no, you don't get to steal everything, you commie. You don't get to take it as yours. You don't get to redistribute unfairly the attention that you want personally yourself for the greater benefit of your